It is a blue sky day here in Manhattan, Kansas, and it's chilly. Yeah, you can even have chilly, even though it's 11 a.m. The folks have come out and tailgating for the Wildcats, and they've made the trip from Ames as well. And it might not even be Thanksgiving, but Santa Claus already? It's time for some Big 12 football here on FS1, presented by Kay Jewelers, Iowa State and Kansas State. And hello, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside seven-time All-Pro Steve Hutchinson. And Hutch, this is like deja vu all over again for me. Third time the last 4 years I've called this exact game. And each year it seems like it is a close one. And these two teams both have 3 wins, but they're not your typical 3-win teams. Why?
Well, first, the similarity between the two teams is they play tough schedules. But besides that, they have a lot of young players in key positions, especially the quarterback position, inexperience. And these two teams battle hard. You know, you see the way they both played Oklahoma State over the past couple of weeks. They were winning deep into the fourth quarter and found a way to lose. And that's a hard part for young players. It's hard to teach them how to learn to win. You've got to overcome difficulties on the road, and they just haven't been able to do that yet. And you expect that with a pretty young team. So, but these are two good football teams. Don't be mistaken, and they will have a good battle today.
They really are two good football teams, well-coached teams. In these meetings, the last 7 have gone the way of Kansas State. They call this matchup Farmageddon. Iowa State against Kansas State. Should be a good one. Coming up, kickoff next, right here on FS1. Last year, these teams met week 2 of the season. Iowa State jumped out to an early 15-point lead. But Kansas State behind quarterback Jake Waters. A couple of touchdowns, and next thing you know, Kansas State made it 7 straight against Iowa State, winning by 32-28. These two teams, they are familiar with each other. First meeting back in 1917. You see K-State has been dominant of late, but 6 of the last 7 games have been decided by 8 points or less. It is sunny here in Manhattan, Kansas, but it's also chilly. 34 degrees. It is windy. They say it's 11 miles per hour. Feels like even more. Paul Rhodes in his 7th year as the head coach, just outside of Ames. His team knows how big this game is for their program. And Bill Snyder, 24th year as the head coach, his 2nd stint as the head man here for Kansas State. K-State won the toss. They've elected to defer. Iowa State will get the ball. Ian Patterson will kick off. DeVario Montgomery and Trevor Ryan are back deep for the Cyclones. It's cold, but hey, we could be in Iowa where they have snow on the field.
Hey, absolutely. They're still trying to dig that stadium out and find the field.
Ian Patterson to kick off. Here to open this one. It's a morning kick. And it's a short one. Trevor Ryan from the 7. Ryan patiently trying to get through the hole, gets tripped up to the 21. Hey, Hutch, how about 3 things we have to know with Iowa State with the ball?
Yeah, absolutely. First, they got to take advantage of opportunities. You're going to get less possessions due to the style of Kansas State's offense, so make the most of them. Get going early, and that's the run game. Young quarterback's best friend is a reliable running back. Start fast. And for defense on the Wildcats, don't give up any big plays. Their secondary has been a little suspect this year, and the reason they've lost some games at the end is because they've given up some big pass plays at the end. Keep it all in front of you.
Joe Lanning making his 4th start in the shotgun with Mike Warren and Trevor Ryan next to him. Ryan in motion on 1st down. They swing it out to him. And Ryan gets stood up nicely by Duke Shelley. No gain on that one. 2nd down and 10 as we look at this quarterback, Joel Lanning. And the offense has changed with Lanning at the helm. You see what he's done at quarterback, 77 yards per game rushing in the 3 starts. And that's been big. They changed the dynamic of this offense with both he and Mike Warren. 2nd down and 10. Movement all over the place. We've got our first flag of the morning. Our referee is Brad Van Vark. I'm going to say that might be my favorite name for a referee this year.
You're going to get a little false start. I think the right guard.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Oh, that's the center, Jamison Locke. You can't get going until he should know. He's got the ball. You got to snap it first before you can go. But, you know, both teams have a veteran offensive line. And if there's one group that's going to lead these teams, it's going to be the offensive line. So Not a good way to start for Iowa State.
2nd and 15. Lanning out to his right. Lanning trying to extend the play, and he gets taken down. Sacked for a loss of 3 by Jordan Willis.
Well, you like the confidence by offensive coordinator Todd Sturdy to go with a couple passes right off the bat, but you're going to see nothing down the field, nothing open. Good coverage by the Wildcats, and that's just a coverage sack all the way.
Now 3rd and 17. Lanning pressured up the middle, fumbles, and Lanning's able to dive on top of it. Could have been a huge early turnover.
Well, the last sack was a coverage sack. This one was just pressure up the middle. A couple guys right up the middle, forced Lanning to run. Somebody swatted the ball there at the end, and he's lucky to fall on it. Not a good start to this game, but could have been catastrophic there with a fumble and K-State taking over. At least they get to punt the ball out of their own end zone.
Colin Downing will punt. Dominic Heath is at midfield awaiting this one. K-State hoping for some good field position. A good high punt. Fair catch, signaled and made for at the 48-yard line, a 42-yard punt by Downing. How about 3 things you have to know when K-State has the ball?
Well, they've got to be balanced. Their offense is designed and only works well when the run and the pass are both effective. You don't want to turn the ball over. You saw a fumble already in this game, but they're not built to come back from deficits, so don't create one by giving the ball to them. For the Cyclones defense, they want to stop the run to control the clock. We know Kansas State wants to possess the ball and draw this game out and keep their defense on the field. They got to get off the field in a hurry.
Well, this K-State offense will start with Huebner as the quarterback, and he's got both his fullbacks in. Glenn Gronkowski, Winston Dimmel here on 1st down from their own 48. Great starting field position. Huebner throws, complete to Dominic Heath. And Heath gets run out at the 48 of Iowa State, a pickup of 3. Joe Huebner, he's not known for his consistency throwing the ball. What he's known for is a running quarterback. Last week, he ran for 3 touchdowns. He actually had his career high in passing with 289 yards. In the loss at Texas Tech, Charles Jones now in at tailback on 2nd down and 7. And we've got a flag. More movement.
Left tackle Cody Whitehair, All-American.
Ball start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
I think they called Matt Kleinsorge there, but saw a little movement on the left side as well. And again, I said, that both these teams have veteran offensive lines, and Whitehair, the left tackle, even though Matt was called on the other side, they're talking about him being the #1 guard prospect in the draft next year. So very quality lines on both teams.
You see the numbers for both teams penalty-wise. We talk about how well coached these teams are, and another false start, this time on Luke Hayes, the right guard.
Ball start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Justin, we've covered, this is our 3rd Kansas State game this year, and in every game you see a lot of penalties, and it's very uncharacteristic of Bill Snyder teams, and I know he gets really frustrated, and that's one of the things he talked about with us, was to be fundamentally sound. Consistency, start fast, fundamentals, and that's, 2 penalties in a row, 2 false starts, and that's not what he's preaching.
Empty backfield here on 2nd down and 16. Huebner to pass, and it's incomplete. Dropped by Dominic Heath.
That's all on Heath. Huebner steps up in the pocket, scans the field well. A little low, but Heath should have held on to that. You see a couple short passes by Joe already, and I'm gonna be honest with you, he's looked good. Those are the passes we've seen him not complete in the past.
3rd and long here, 3rd and 16. Huebner back to pass, dumps it off for Heath. Heath in the open field. Look at him just surrounded by the white jerseys. Picks up 5. Brian Mills and Regan Northrup combined to bring him down. And so after back-to-back false starts, they can't take advantage of good starting field position, and now K-State has to punt.
Well, you play into any defense's hands when you're in 3rd and 16, and especially for Iowa State, they get a chance to rush their 3-man front, which they've went to this year. They went from a 4-3 to a 3-4, and they drop 8. So all you got to do in that situation is keep the guys in front of you.
Alan Lazard will field this in midfield. Lazard trying to get towards the edge. Lazard down the sideline. A great return by the sophomore Alan Lazard. A 47-yard return after a 37-yard punt. And all of a sudden, Iowa State is able to flip that field position. Alan Lazard, the team's leading receiver, now on punt returns. A little decoy, and it paid off for the Cyclones. Well, Hutch, you mentioned this in the open. Now both teams have young players at key positions. And look at what Iowa State has, quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, as they have great starting field position at the 40 of Kansas State. It looked like there's more movement up front. The handoff to Mike Warren, his first carry. There is a flag on the far side of the field. Marquel Bryant, Will Geary combined for the stop, a pickup of 3, but let's see what this flag is for.
You're going to get defensive jumping off sides there. Will Geary, the nose guard, a little early. The 3 penalties already on K-State.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, some of that's nerves.
Offside. Defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Well, they called Travis Britz, but
You mentioned those penalties. The first 4 games of the year, K-State averaged 7.5 penalties per game. The last 5, it's down to 4.6. However, already 3 in this one. It's 1st and 5. Warren again, and Warren gets wrapped up, going to lose a yard. Geary and Jordan Willis combine for the tackle.
well, when they do stay on sides, it's a good start for them. They know Mike Warren is one of those key young guys we've talked about in the open. He leads all freshmen in the country with over 1,000 yards, and that's pretty impressive for a redshirt freshman running back in this conference. So they're going to be keying on him all day.
Trevor Ryan comes in at running back on 2nd down and 6. We've yet to see Lanning try to take off. Lanning drops back over the middle. He finds Ryan out of the backfield. Ryan, a good move to get to the outside, and he takes a hard hit, picks up 14. Kendall Adams with the tackle. He's down to the 21.
Smart move by Lanning. Take what the defense gives you. He sees this soft zone coverage. Ryan goes out of the backfield and sits there in this window in the zone, and that's what you do. It's a give and take, and you don't force anything, and that's a smart play by a young player.
1st and 10, the first down of the afternoon or the morning for either team. Play action. They go back to Ryan, wide open, touchdown Cyclones, 21 yards. The first receiving touchdown of the year for Trevor Ryan.
Well, you see Ryan there. He's going to start in the backfield. And it's going to be just a simple wheel route. They're going to fake him the ball, and so many times he gets lost in the shuffle, runs down the sideline. Defense forgets to cover him. That's definitely a blown coverage by the linebacker Elijah Lee there, and supposed to have eyes on him, but easy touchdown for the Cyclones.
Cole Netton on for the extra point here for Iowa State. The kick is good. It was all set up by the return by Alan Lazard. And then Trevor Ryan, a couple of catches out of the backfield. And it's 7-0 Iowa State. An early 7-0 lead for Iowa State over K-State here in Manhattan, Kansas. And it was a quick 3-play, 40-yard drive. Trevor Ryan, a couple of catches, including a touchdown catch, but it was Alan Lazard on that 47-yard punt return that set up that entire drive for the Cyclones. Chris Francis will kick off for Iowa State. Morgan Burns, Dominic Heath are back deep for K-State. And a whistle before the kick. The ball may be moved on the tee.
You might want to think about kicking this one as deep as possible because you got Morgan Burns back there. Last week set a school record in kickoff return yardage.
221 kickoff return yards for Morgan Burns last week. He also did that on 7 tries. And this will be kicked out of bounds, so it'll be good starting field position for Kansas State. They'll start at the 35. A look back at the season for K-State. They got off to a 3-0 start. Kansas State was able to outlast La Tech in triple overtime. Then against TCU, the Horned Frogs is number 2 in the country. They rallied for that last-minute victory. They played Baylor tough, but that was the 5th straight loss. And Kansas State has now lost 6 in a row. The longest streak since 1989, Bill Snyder's first year. On first down, it's Charles Jones, and Jones gets hit right away. No pickup. Second down and 10, Levi Peters for the tackle.
Tough sledding early, but that's how the running game works. You know, you kind of pop it in there, yard here, yard or 2 there, and you let that offensive line lean on that defensive line for most of the game, and you'll see those big holes start opening later. But you got to be able to stick with the run. You got to be able to open it up with pass a little bit.
And you mentioned it before, this Iowa State team is going to focus on the run because they want to force Joe Huebner to beat them through the air. Hand off to Jones. Jones able to hit the hole. Charles Jones up to the 42. Jordan Harris, Kawan Floyd bring him down, a pickup of 7, 3rd and 3, and this is where Kansas State is really dangerous.
Yeah, when you have a running quarterback going against a team that primarily plays 3 down for the most part in nickel situations, this is where you want to be. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, gives you a lot of opportunities.
Huebner to throw on 3rd and 3, completes the pass to Deontay Burton, and that will be enough for the first down.
Yeah, it sounds weird, Justin, but I got to tell you, in these intermediate passes we've seen Joe Huebner throw the ball so far, he's been on target. And that's, like I said, it sounds weird, but that's where we've seen his fault before. These little dink and dunk flat passes, he's really misfired on a lot earlier this season. You can tell he's working on it, and that's the thing about these young teams, getting experience as they go.
First down and 10 here for K-State. Huebner was a javelin thrower in high school, a great deep ball thrower. Jones up the middle. And Charles Jones up to the 49. Floyd and Harris combined again. It's a 4-yard pickup. Second down and 6.
Well, what you see there is Charles Jones, the running back. And he is the veteran of the running back crew, the junior. You see how patient he is? I mean, that's the one thing you notice about Bill Snyder offenses, that whether it be the quarterback or the running back, they are patient. They let those blocks get set up by the offensive line. And it might take a couple seconds more, but they're going to find that lane and push for positive yards.
Second down and 6. Huebner under center. Dimmel in motion. Handoff for Jones. Look at the hole for him. Jones has the first down, run out of bounds by Brian Mills.
Well, this is a good mix-up by Dana Dimmel, the offensive coordinator. You see him running inside. You see him running outside. Here's the outside give. It's just an outside zone. You see a lead by Winston Dimmel. Nice kick-out block, and Jones is going to follow him to the sideline.
And this is typical of K-State, a type of drive, keeping it on the ground. They threw that one for the first down, but they're relying on the back of Charles Jones. Now running the option with Huebner. He's going to keep it. Huebner, a good run for the tall quarterback. 6'5", 210, picks up 17. Darian Cotton gets credit for the tackle.
Well, again, working the outside of this Cyclone defense. Just a little option. He's going to keep it himself and pick up a big chunk of yardage. And that's what I talked about with the 3 things. Iowa State's going to have to learn, minimize their big runs, because that's what Kansas State is all about. They want to control the clock, make your defense stay out there and get tired. Already I see Iowa State, rotating a lot of their down guys, trying to keep them fresh.
Iowa State switched to a 3-4 this year, were a 4-3 last year. Showing pressure, Huebner. He's going to run. He's got a hole again. And Huebner takes a shot. You could see them lining up to hit him. He picks up 16. Kawan Floyd and Regan Northrup combined to hit him, and you just hope he's all right.
Well, this is what running the ball gets you. You see a blitz coming from the right side of the screen there, and Huebner left a void in the backfield of the Iowa State defense, and Huebner took it to that void in positive yardage. This is what worst nightmare case for Iowa State.
You almost wish, if you're Kansas State, that on that play, Huebner, as the defense is lining up to hit him, just slide. You've already got the first down. Slide, protect yourself. Jones on the handoff. Jones bounces off a couple of tacklers, and he gets taken down.
Well, you got to remember, Huebner was anything but a quarterback, really, in high school. I mean, he was a receiver. He ran the ball. He played DB. So his slide's probably not in his vocabulary yet. But we've seen some games already at Oklahoma State. He got hurt early, got knocked out from not having slid. And you see Cody Cook have to come in and play quarterback, and he'll learn eventually. I mean, he's got to learn. Wait a minute, I don't want to be sore on the next day. I don't want to be sore Sunday morning. I'm going to slide.
2nd and goal from the 4. Both fullbacks are in. It's Gronkowski, the fullback pass to his teammate, Winston Dibble. Little trickeration here early on for Kansas State.
Well, Justin, I've been waiting all year for something exotic out of what I call this heavy package, where they bring both fullbacks in, and you see, not unlike what they did at UTSA. You see the little jump pass, the little Tebow-esque pass, but unlike then, it was from Huebner. Here it's from Gronk, showing he can do it all.
Jack Cantelli on for the extra point, but first flags.
Why not? You need flags. We haven't had flags in a whole series or two, right?
Illegal substitution on the defense. 12-man in formation. That penalty will be declined. Replay the try.
Cantelli to tie this one up here in the first quarter. Nine plays, 65 yards, a fullback pass to the other fullback, Gronkowski to Dimmel. And we're all tied up at 7 here in Manhattan, Kansas. Tied up at 7 here in the Little Apple. And Kansas State, a good answer after the touchdown by Iowa State. Gronkowski, his first ever pass. It's a touchdown pass to Winston Dimmel.
You see that drive was probably just how they'd like to script it. They'd probably want to go back and do that on all the last 6 games, but that's what they're built on. Running the ball, having the quarterback manage the game instead of playing out of their comfort zone.
Trevor Ryan to return from the 1. Ryan, a good return across the 35, and Ryan is up to the 38-yard line. A 35-yard return. Time for our first Lowe's game break. Let's go to L.A. and Jenny Taft.
Thanks, Justin. Number 17, North Carolina visiting Virginia Tech, and Frank Beamer's final home game with his Hokies. The Tar Heels quarterback Marquise Williams keeps it 18 yards for the first touchdown of the game and his 10th rushing TD this season as UNC is on the board first. It's 7-0 in the first quarter. Justin?
All right, thanks, Jenny. Early morning for you out there in L.A. It's an early morning here in Manhattan, Kansas, all tied up at 7. Lanning on first down will hand off to Mike Warren. Mike Warren gets a nice hole, and he's able to hit that and pick up 10 for the first down. Kendall Adams with the tackle.
I mentioned Charles Jones being able to be patient and running in there and letting his blocks get set up, and here you see it out of the freshman running back for the Cyclones, Mike Warren, as well. It's a good job letting the play develop in front of him and not rushing his linemen that let him get on their blocks.
Joshua Thomas in for the first time as Trevor Ryan goes in motion. Quarterback run. Lanning Able to spin forward, landing up to the 48 of K-State, gets 4. Shermichael Moore with the tackle.
We talked to offensive coordinator Todd Sturdy the other day, and he said what he liked about Lanning is his ability to make plays with his feet and make us more balanced. That's what you're talking about there. 1st and 10, simple little quarterback draw, delayed quarterback draw, and 5 yards. And that's where you want to be. 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, pick up half that and live in 3rd and short. The rest of the day, you'd be happy.
2nd down and 6. Lanning rolling out to his right. Throw, shows off the strong arm. Completes the pass to Jawan Wesley, 11 yards, and the 1st down. The issue about Lanning, he's got the arm, it's accuracy. So far, he's been accurate.
Well, you see him throw a dime right on target here. He missed it there a little bit on the edge of the screen, but on the move, threw it right into the chest and moved the chains.
1st and 10 from the 38. Lanning gets hit, loses the ball, it's loose. Jordan Willis, they're going to say it's an incomplete pass. And I think you might want to take a look at that.
Let's take a look. Jordan Willis, yeah, it's tough to see there. His arm looked like it was starting to move forward. Let's take another look from a different angle. It's going to be ever so slightly, but I think the rule is if the arm is moving forward, it's got to be considered incomplete pass.
The ruling on the field of complete pass is under further review.
You talk about young quarterbacks. One of the things you learn to learn, I guess, is pocket awareness. And that timer in Joel Lanning's head should have been going off, patting that ball a little too much, waiting for something to open it. He's got to learn to tuck it and go.
Again, it's one of those, as you said, the arm going forward. Remember, the ruling on the field is it was an incomplete pass. .326 to go here in the 1st quarter, all tied up at 7, Iowa State and Kansas State. Paul Rhodes and the Cyclones trying to snap a 7-game losing streak against these Wildcats. Coming off the heartbreaking loss last week at home to number 5 Oklahoma State, 35-31. Iowa State led 24-7. They led 31-21, and they ended up losing by 4.
Be interesting to see how Kansas State moves forward attacking Joel Lanning with the pass rush, because I noticed last week against Oklahoma State, Iowa State's offense, Emmanuel Ogbah.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
See, that's the issue. It's really once they make the call on the field, it's so hard to reverse it.
Because it's so hard to see it. But Emmanuel Ogbah, they started moving him to the left side, right side of the offense, to Brock Daigle's side. He got a couple of sacks over there. So let's see if they help him out on some of these deep drops. Number 72, Brock Daigle, the right tackle, because he's given up a couple sacks the last couple weeks over there.
2nd down and 10 here for Iowa State. Handoff, Warren. Little shake and bake, keeps those legs moving, gets a push from his offensive line. And Warren's up to the 32, gets 6. Elijah Lee and Morgan Burns combine for the tackle.
Just a simple misdirection play. They're going to pull the tight end, Ben Bozen, to the right side, get the defense flowing to their right, offense is left, and good positive play. A manageable 3rd down. That's all you can ask.
3rd and 4, and you wonder maybe it's a 2-down territory with the ball at the 32. Lanning back to pass. Throws towards the sideline, completes the pass to the true freshman Carson Epps, and he's got the 1st down, picks up 11.
Well, picking on cornerback Kendall Adams over there. gives them too much space, too much comfort zone on a short third and four, 3rd and 5, and able to convert. A couple good passes to the sideline by Lanning so far.
1st and 10 from the 22 of K-State. Warren on the handoff. Warren gets tripped up in a good play by Kendall Adams. Otherwise, that could have been a big game for Warren, maybe even a touchdown. He gets 8.
Yeah, shoestring tackle saved the touchdown there. You see the center with a good block, a good enough block to hold up Michael Moore. Jamison Locke goes down low and tries to get a cut. And again, Mike Warren not running like a freshman, running like a veteran there, and pick up his feet a little bit. He might be still running. Hit his head on the goalpost, as we'd say.
2nd down and 10. It's Warren again. And Warren has that 1st down. Is thrown forward by Moore. And he gets 6. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 6 for Iowa State.
Yeah, almost the same play, but they're picking on the left side of the offensive line there, following them guys, the right side of the defensive line, and running at Will Geary. But you got to wear those 2 guys down. That's been the heart and soul of this defense. So even though they've lost 6 games in a row, those 2 guys, Britz and Geary, have been their wall up there.
Watch out for Alan Lazard on the bottom of your screen. He's a tall receiver at 6'5". They go to Lazard. The jump ball, Lazard, incomplete.
You must have the script in your pocket. From,
actually, in my IFB, I've got the Todd Sturdy's calls in my headset.
It's a good ball by Lanning. Throw it where either his guy's going to get it or nobody. And
Duke Shelley there on the coverage, the true freshman.
True freshman. It's a good job. Like you said, tall receiver. It's a mismatch, and that's what they want to do. Look for one-on-one in the corner of the end zone, and good job breaking that pass play up.
2nd and goal from the 6. Lanning, handoff to Warren. Warren cuts it back. And he brings it down to the 1, so it's 3rd and goal from the 1. Kendall Adams with his 5th tackle here in the 1st quarter.
You know, that's a good job by Kendall Adams, but I'm not sure that's a good sign for Kansas State defense when your safety or your corners coming in there making 5 tackles in the 1st quarter. It's those linebackers, the defensive linemen, got to start doing their job a little bit more.
Joshua Thomas in the backfield with Mike Warren. Thomas, the short yardage guy, has 7 rushing touchdowns. It's Warren instead, and Warren, he's not going to get there. Comes out just shy.
I would be surprised if they go for it here.
Shermichael Moore with the touchdown-saving tackle, and so now decision time, and maybe Paul Rhodes will make the decision after the commercial break.
Everything gets a little tighter there towards the goal line. You got a lot of guys squished in there like sardines, so those holes don't open up as much as they do in the field.
4th and goal from inside the 1 is coming up when we start the 2nd quarter for Iowa State. Decision time for Paul Rhodes. A good start here in Manhattan, Kansas. All tied up, 7-7, Iowa State and K-State. College football on FS1 is presented by Kay Jewelers. Start of the 2nd quarter, Paul Rhodes says, we're going for it. 4th and goal from inside the 1. Mike Warren is in at tailback. Lanning's a threat to run as well. He fumbles the ball. Lanning, does he recover? He does, but it doesn't matter. Can't punch it in. A turnover on downs.
Just an unfortunate, unforced error there.
Just got going before he had the ball. It will be K-State ball backed up inside their own 1 when we come back. What a game we have tonight on Fox as 10th-ranked Baylor takes on 6th-ranked Oklahoma State. The Cowboys facing their toughest test of the season. And it's all part of a full day of great games here on FS1 and your local Fox affiliate. Iowa State Long drive, nothing to show for it, and K-State here on first down. Able to move the ball forward, gets 4 yards up to the 5. Second down and 6 here for Kansas State, just trying to give themselves some breathing room.
Exactly. If anything else, you want to give your punter worst case scenario so he's not standing on the end line.
Gronkowski in at fullback, Charles Jones in at tailback. Jones on the carry, and Jones is surrounded. The ball comes loose, fumble, recovered by Iowa State. Luke Knott recovers the fumble for the Cyclones.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. Charles Jones is trying to make something out of nothing, and defender gets his hand there at the end and knocks it out. And then, of course, they trade turnovers. This one being a little bit more crucial than Iowa State's, being backed up. But again, we talk about limiting mistakes, and these are the killers here. Turnover deep in your own territory.
It looked like it was Brian Mills who forced the fumble. And it was recovered by Knott, so first and goal from the 3 here for Iowa State. Remember, they could not punch it in from the 1 on 4th and goal. It's kept by Lanning. Lanning reaching, stretching, gets to the 1. Travis Britz with the tackle. Second and goal from the 1.
Again, good touchdown saving tackle by Britz. Here's where they were to, like you said, finish up the 4th down on just a couple minutes ago. Let's see if they can not mishandle snaps this time around.
Now it's Joshua Thomas in the backfield. A short yardage specialist. Movement up front. It is the freshman Thomas. And they say he's down, I don't know, inches away from the goal line.
Well, that line judge has got the best seat in the house to see this. And, whoa. And he must have saw it. Was his knee down prior to that ball crossing? Because that ball ended up getting
Does this go to the review?
Yeah, it looks like they're stopping it.
Yeah.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was short of the goal line. That ruling is under further review.
Take a quick look here. Driving the... Oh, see his knee. But where was the ball when that left knee hit?
The best angle we're going to have is that sideline angle.
We'll have to see if we can.
And if we could freeze it when the knee is down, you can see where the ball is.
The knee hits there.
I think it's a touchdown.
That ball breaks the plane. You can see the ball outstretched in his arms there. That ball has definitely broken the plane when that knee touches down.
Lanning, he's saying touchdown.
Well, of course he's going to say touchdown.
I think that shot that we just had, though, when you circled it with his knee down, I think that one's going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah, remember the rule states when the knee touch, as soon as the first, he's down by contact, which in this case would be his knee. It's where the ball is.
This is the best look once again. And you'll see the knee down and where the ball is. Knee is down now.
There, ball's across. It's just got to break the front. I mean, the first part of the goal line, the white edge in the front, and it's considered a touchdown. I think this one will be overturned.
Joshua Thomas has 7 rushing touchdowns this year. This would be number 8.
Not bad for a true freshman from Buford, Georgia. Way to start your college career.
And this is all coming off the fumble recovery by Luke Knott.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called.
I don't agree.
Yeah.
I think we showed enough evidence to overturn that.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't close.
Right.
I mean, the ball was was a football length ahead of the goal line.
And that's one of the frustrations that people have with replays. If you can see it, what we think is clear. How is it not overturned? Thomas is back in there on 3rd and goal from inside the 1. It's kept by Lanning, and Lanning's push. No sign yet. And I think it's short again. So 4th and goal from inside the 1 for Iowa State. They went for it last time. It was a fumble by Lanning. They're going to go for it again. And he just couldn't get anything going there.
I don't think this crowd appreciates how tough of a job Kansas State is doing right now. I mean, they force them to not score on the last drive with 4th and goal. And now here they are, held them basically 3 plays out. And if they can do it again, this place got to go nuts. That's what they need, a little life.
Lanning in the shotgun. Lanning keeps it and walks it in for the touchdown. A great play fake as they fake the handoff to Thomas. K-State bid on it, and Lanning has the rushing touchdown, his 4th of the year.
Well, that play was set up by the 3 plays before that. They're all counting on Thomas getting that ball and barreling in there. And great fake by Lanning, and runs in. Little shades of former Iowa State quarterback Seneca Wallace, my former teammate with the Seattle Seahawks. And he was known for running a little bit too, and as you can tell, Lanning can do it well. 130 yards on the ground last week with his legs, and starting already with a touchdown today.
Cole netting on for the extra point. It was all set up by the fumble recovery by Luke Knott. 1st and goal from the 3. It took 4 tries for Iowa State, but finally, Joe Lanning able to punch it in. 14-7 Cyclones. Morning now turned into afternoon here in Manhattan, Kansas. The last 3 drives have all taken place inside K-State's 5-yard line. Iowa State had that long drive, stuffed at the 1 on a fumble, recovered. Then K-State fumbled of their own. Iowa State recovered. It took 4 plays to go 3 yards for the touchdown for the Cyclones. Morgan Burns, a dangerous return man, is back deep here with Chris Francis kicking off for Iowa State. The wind has blown the ball off the tee.
Well, so far Iowa State's doing what we thought they should be doing. You know, you look at the first quarter time of possession, they've had the ball for over 8 minutes. And so far this quarter, the second quarter, even though Kansas State fumbled and gave it right back to them, they're keeping the ball out of Joe Huebner's and that deadly, so far today, deadly running game out of the Wildcat offense. So that's what, you know, limit them to score points. They can't score if they don't have the ball, right?
You're almost beating K-State at their own game.
Correct.
Morgan Burns to return from the 1. Burns breaks from a couple of tacklers and brings it up to the 15-yard line. Time for a game break. Let's go to LA. Here's Jenny.
Justin, thanks. 5th ranked and undefeated Iowa looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. Hosting Purdue, C.J. Beathard finds Matt Vandenberg for the 7-yard touchdown, but the extra point is blocked. The Hawkeyes lead 20-0 in the second quarter. Justin, Steve, back to you guys.
Thanks, Jenny. All right, there's the question that everyone wants to know. Is Iowa a legit team this year? Are they a legit contender for the college football playoff?
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out. They're going to play in that Big Ten championship game here in a few weeks, more than likely, and we'll see who the East puts in that game, but we'll find out. That'll be a good measuring stick for them.
On 1st down, the handoff to Jones. I'm sorry, you in politics? That was a way to dance around the answer there.
I am in politics, especially when it comes to Big Ten. Well, you see Charles Jones running the ball there, and you got to be careful about that spin. A lot of times that's where those fumbles happen. That's how he fumbled on that last series, spinning in the hole like that, and that's where an arm or you know, a leg or a knee will come in there and pop that ball out. So youngsters got to be careful.
2nd down and 8 here for Kansas State. Huebner to throw, and throws high, incomplete for Cody Cook. All right, so is Iowa for real as you look at Hutch's top 5? You have him in that top 5.
Yeah, you know, when you're in a Power 5 conference and you'll be able to go 10-0 up until today, at least to this point, you got to go in there, right? I mean, Clemson, undefeated. Ohio State undefeated. Alabama, one-loss team, but
okay, so Iowa's in there,
right.
but Oklahoma State's not?
Well, I would put them right up there next to, I mean, it was kind of Notre Dame or them, and we'll find out after if they can beat Oklahoma in Stillwater and stay undefeated to that point, then they're going to jump pretty good, I think.
Huebner trying to run, and he gets chased down by Jordan Harris back at the line of scrimmage. And so another 3-and-out forced here by the Iowa State defense. Trent Taylor was chasing him down.
There's not much there, obviously, but I think it goes back to that first down, that second down throw. You know, he just kind of back to one of those Joe Huebner throws that for no reason should have been a little bit more accurate for the distance that ball had to travel and set up a long third down.
Nick Walsh to punt. Trevor Ryan from the 35. Ryan able to get around some and then takes a big hit at the 40. There's a flag down by the 40-yard line. Nick Walsh, the punter, delivered the hit. A return of 13 yards, but we do have a player down far side of the field for Kansas State. It's Colburn Couchman, one of the special teams real specialists for Kansas State.
Well, he's a backup linebacker as well,
and remember, there is a flag on the field. Nick Walsh, watch him deliver the blow.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 39, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down. Timeout.
2 players are down. Trevor Ryan is down for Iowa State, and Colburn Couchman is down for K-State here in the second quarter. Colburn Couchman is just now getting to his feet, and you will see why he is slow to get up. Watch the replay.
You see Couchman here. You see Matt Swoyer there, number 20, and he's just gonna a legal block. You can see he's gonna hit him with his shoulder in the chest area, keeping the head out of it. But it hurts when you don't see it coming like that. And I'm glad to see Colburn get up and walk out in his own power.
So he was shaken up. Trevor Ryan was shaken up on the play. And it will be Iowa State ball after the penalty, starting at their own 29. Joel Lanning off to a good start. 5 for 7 in the air for 56 yards. There is Ryan walking back towards the locker room. On first down, it's Warren up the middle. Good cutback. Warren's got some blockers. Down the sideline, there goes Warren. As he is shoved out of bounds by the freshman Duke Shelley. He gets 28 yards on that carry.
I'm telling you, I'm very impressed with Mike Warren and his patience when he runs the ball. We're going to see a draw here. He's going to take the ball, let that backside, and then he's not going to cut until that defensive end, Marquell Bryant, goes up the field and commits to which way he's going to go, and he cuts right behind him. And you see Duke Shelley, the true freshman, probably saving a touchdown or at least a longer run there by forcing him out of bounds.
9 carries for 65 yards already for Warren. Lanning fakes the pass, goes up the middle, and Lanning lowers that shoulder against Kendall Adams, and that's what this team loves about him, that he will be the one to deliver the blow against the secondary.
This is a design play. They're gonna bring the running back out and make like they're gonna throw a swing pass, get the defense to clear out the middle, and he just is a design draw all the way. And that kid, like you said, he likes contact. You know, he was quoted as saying this week, he doesn't want to slide. He doesn't get to hit. He doesn't get to get hit in practice. He wants to get hit in the game.
It was a 15-yard run for Lanning. Handoff, Warren. Good job covering up that ball with his offhand. Gets 5 up to the 25.
You're talking to Coach Paul Rhodes the other day in the conference call, and he says, "Man, this kid Lanning, he's got the respect of everyone on the team." You know, he's the leader on offense, even though he's not the oldest guy out there. But they all, when he talks, they all listen. So that speaks volumes of his character and his leadership abilities.
A local kid from Ankeny, Iowa. 2nd down and 5. That changed the play. Play clock down to 4. Fumbles the snap, and he has to dive on top of it. A loss of 5, so 3rd and 10 coming up.
And it looks like the defensive line might have jumped a little bit, but I'm not sure they crossed the plane. It might have been timed up perfect. But I think Lanning, you see him a couple times drop some snap. I think he's taking his eyes off that ball, and you saw it might have been a blitz there. He saw some defenders coming up from the secondary, and I think he was more worried about that than catching the ball.
1 for 4 on 3rd down are the Cyclones. Lanning steps up in the pocket, throws to Lazard, makes the catch. Lazard to the end zone, touchdown. 30-yard touchdown pass from Lanning to Lazard.
It's a great job by Lanning, stepping up in the pocket, seeing the blitz, seeing the pressure, and throwing a dart to Lazard. And 6'3", 223 pounds. Morgan Burns isn't going to bring him down very easily, and he was able to break that tackle. But you're seeing some mature plays by some young players on this Iowa State team. When we talk about them being one of the teams on the rise, they've got a pretty good future there.
Cole netting on for the extra point. A good start in back-to-back weeks for Iowa State. Last week it was at home against Oklahoma State. This week on the road at K-State, they lead by 14. Well, that drive capped off by a 30-yard touchdown catch for Allen Lazard. He now has a catch in every game he's played for the Cyclones, 22 in a row, which is tied for the 3rd longest streak in Iowa State history. The Cyclone fans who made the trip here to the Little Apple, they're happy right now, leading 21-7. Chris Francis to kick off, hoping that the ball will stay on the tee. Morgan Burns, the return man.
We've seen both these teams in these exact situations last week. Iowa State up at Oklahoma State, a very similar score. Kansas State down big twice to Texas Tech, and they were able to battle back. So this game is far from being over, any way you cut it.
Burns, a couple yards deep in the end zone. He's going to return it. Burns, able to hit the hole. Here goes Burns. Down the sideline. Morgan Burns is going to do it again. 102 yards. Third return of the year for a touchdown.
Yeah, I don't want to say right before the kick, I said you don't want to let up, but that's what happens when you have a young team think they're up on somebody. Maybe you let your guard down just enough, and this is the wrong guy you want to let your guard down against. You're up 21-7. You feel good about yourself. And this is a guy that's very dangerous, and we know that. We've seen him do it a couple times, like you said, this year.
Jack Cantelli on for the extra point. 21-14. Special teams, such a big component for both these teams. Morgan Burns, you mentioned his week last week, 7 returns, 221 yards and a touchdown. Well, now he's got 102 yards and a touchdown on this one.
Kansas State known for their excellent special teams play over the years, and Morgan Burns is a special returner, but what you see there on that replay is there is a purple jersey in front of every white jersey out there. There's some great blocks going on there. Nobody does it themselves, and these guys, these Kansas State Wildcats are known for making big plays on special teams.
There was a guy who used to play here named Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
Make a name for himself with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, he's kind of doing the same thing at the next level.
Yeah. Morgan Burns, with all these kickoff returns for touchdowns, maybe he gets a chance.
Yeah.
Somebody takes a shot with him as a special teamer.
Absolutely. You see, special teams has changed at both college and the NFL level over the last couple of years. They're trying to make it more, I guess, safe for the play. I mean, it's one of the plays where you see a lot of concussions and guys get knocked out with, they eliminated the wedge, the 3-man wedge, 2-man wedge. So a lot of it nowadays depends on single blocks. Can you match up? And it's harder to do because you're asking 10 guys to block their guys and hold it. But if you can get it, if you can hold it, like you said, Kansas State's, them and Virginia Tech, I think, are two of the best special teams in the country the last decade or two. And man, you see what happens if you do it right.
Jamal Wiltz on the return, and Wiltz gets tripped up as he will get to the 24-yard line. Time now for the Nissan Heisman Watch, and let's see who you have for this week.
Well, some of the usual suspects that we've had over the season. You see Elliott in there. Henry's always been in there. Fournette, although he's been down, his numbers have been down the last couple weeks. And Deshaun Watson, I think if you're 11-0, starting quarterback, #1 team in the country, you're doing something right. And then, of course, Mayfield with Oklahoma. I think everybody's looking forward to that game next weekend in Stillwater.
No doubt about it, but Oklahoma State has to take care of Baylor first. That game's tonight on Fox. On first down, Lanning steps up again. Lanning buying some time, throws down the sideline. Lazard, incomplete, just dropped it. He had a chance. Morgan Burns there on the coverage.
Well, Lanning does a good job keeping the play alive with his feet. Nothing open initially down the field. And Lazard wasn't really open there, but at 6'5", 223 pounds, he's always got something of him open, and he threw it up. Again, a nice pass on the run by Lanning, because, again, that was just like the one in the corner of the end zone earlier in the game. He threw it where his guy was going to get it or nobody.
Second down and 10. Hand off to Warren. Look at Warren go. Huge hole, and Mike Warren's going to have a touchdown. 76 yards. Untouched.
Well, there's been a couple constants in this run game so far, and Jamison Locke blocking the center has been one of them. The way he pulls around, gets a block on Elijah Lee, the Will linebacker, springs Warren. A couple of Warren's biggest runs so far. In fact, his longest runs have been with Jamison pulling out at the center position. That's a tough thing to do, folks, and you got to have a pretty athletic center to be able to do that, and he's been doing it well so far this game.
136 yards on the day for Mike Warren. The extra point is good by Cole Netton. Well, you had just said, don't let your guard down if you're Iowa State. They give up a 102-yard kickoff return touchdown. Mike Warren comes back, a 76-yard touchdown run, and it's back up to a 14-point lead for Iowa State.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, the unbeaten Hawkeyes try to wrap up the Big Ten West. Carolina can claim the ACC Coastal with the win in Frank Beamer's final home game as Hokies head coach. And we discuss big stakes in the Big 12 with Baylor and Oklahoma State later on Fox. Justin, Steve, we'll see you at the break.
A 14-point lead for Iowa State, 28-14. As Iowa State will kick off with Chris Francis kicking off to Morgan Burns again. A high short kick. Burns from the 2. He's got to be tired. No, maybe not. Burns again. Still going, and Burns returns it to the 40. A 38-yard return. He's slow to get up. And time for a game break. Let's go back and check in with Jenny.
Well, Justin, I've got more Big 12 action for you. West Virginia visiting Kansas. Skylar Howard connects with Cody Clay, 2 yards for the score. The Mountaineers piling it on 35-0 and become bowl eligible with a win. Justin?
Thanks, Jenny. Well, here in Manhattan, Kansas, 28-14. Iowa State leading. Joe Huebner back out there. It's been a while since we've seen him. On first down, he's going to throw to Cody Cook towards the sideline. Cook gets driven out at the 47 by Jamal Wiltz. Picks up 7, 2nd and 3.
Well, we've yet to see Joe Huebner go down the field with the ball. And like you mentioned earlier, javelin throw in high school, I thought in the couple games we've done prior to this one, he looked better throwing the deep ball than he did out to the sideline.
No doubt.
With the exception of that one we'd mentioned earlier where he threw it over the receiver's head at the short pass. He's looked pretty good on his short throws as well.
Watch for a quarterback run here. They fake. Nope. Huebner buying time. Huebner. And he gets hit. Gonna lose 3 yards. Damon Tucker delivered the hit. And that's one where maybe a more experienced quarterback realizes, I'm just going to throw this one away.
Yeah, you could tell that play was designed to go deep. It was a play action pass, and he was looking for the receiver at the far side, and he was going deep with it. But something made him pull it and run it, and he got hit by Tucker there.
Here he is on the quarterback run. And Huebner, he's going to move those chains. Up to the 47 of Iowa State, gets 8. Levi Peters gets credit for the tackle, his 2nd.
And that's one of the areas that we were talking to Wally Burnham, the defensive coordinator for Iowa State. He said we have to get better on 3rd down. And when you have a 3rd and medium, which is, not horrible for either side, you got to be able to stop the quarterback if you're Iowa State. But for Kansas State, that's moving the chains is good.
First carry of the day for Justin Silman. And Silman gets taken out at the 45, picks up 2. Darian Cotton and Damon Tucker combine for the tackle.
It's the 2nd time we've heard Damon Tucker's name in as many plays. He's a guy that, as a nose guard in a 3-4 scheme, won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week last week, which is saying a lot. I mean, those guys they're basically asked to be, hey, listen, you stand here and be a fire plug. And just don't let anybody touch our linebackers. And for him to have a couple sacks and tackles for losses, that's a big game for a nose guard.
2nd down and 8. Huebner in the shotgun. Charles Jones back in. Quarterback draw. Huebner gets hit hard again. Brian Mills picks up 4. You mentioned Damon Tucker, Defensive Player of the Week in the Big 12 for his game. Morgan Burns, he was the Special Teams Player of the Week, and Burns already today, he has a 102-yard kickoff return touchdown. Last week it was a 93-yard return.
Well, like I said, you're starting to hear Tucker's name a little bit more, and Burnham's been keeping them guys rotating. He knows what kind of game it's going to be and doesn't want them to get worn out.
3rd and 4 here. Again, that 3rd down manageable for K-State. Huebner. He's got room to run again, and he does, and he gets a 1st down again, hit by Brian Mills. Able to move those chains, gets 5 when he needed 4.
Good job by Joe Huebner. He's taking what the defense is giving him. That's part of the thing. It's so hard for a quarterback to get into a rhythm. You talk about offensive line and the running back getting in sync and rhythm, being able to run the ball and sticking with the run. Well, it's the same thing with the quarterback. I mean, when he's throwing the ball one time and it's to the flat, and then they're running the ball 10 times, and then they punt, and then he comes back maybe 10 minutes later and throws the ball. He's got to be able to get in a groove. So it's nice to see them extending drives with 1st downs and giving them an opportunity to get in a rhythm.
Justin Silman back in, takes the handoff. Waiting for something to develop. Nothing did. No gain. Darian Cotton and Regan Northrup combine for the tackle. 2nd and 10 coming up here for the Wildcats. Trailing by 14. Under 4 to play here in this 2nd quarter. Damon Tucker back on the field. The ground game being dominated by Iowa State here so far. Handoff. Silman. And Silman up to the 33, gets 3. Willie Harvey, Dale Pearson. And going back to that graphic, you saw those numbers, but a big chunk of that was that 76-yard touchdown run.
Well, you're right, but look at Damon Tucker, the nose guard here in the center of your screen. He's fighting through that block there by Luke Hayes, and he forces Silman to get a little wider, which is in turn lets the linebackers get there and make the tackle. And it might not look like much, but that was a play made by the nose guard there, and you see why he made Defensive Player of the Week last week.
3rd and 7. K-State's 3 for 5 on 3rd down. Huebner pressured, gets hit by Tucker. Huebner able to throw it away. But Damon Tucker, he's starting to string together some big-time plays here for Iowa State.
Well, I think it's the fact because of the rotation early in this game. He's keeping them fresh.
There was an eligible receiver in the area.
You know, you talked to Burnham, and I said, hey, this guy looks great on film. And obviously it was after last week's game and where he won the Player of the Week. And he says, hey, this guy sets the tone up front. He said, you know, he's a JUCO transfer. It took him a while to get in shape, and he's getting now just to where we want him to be weight-wise. And you can see the fruits of his labor, losing the weight, getting in shape, getting in game shape, and what he'll do for them.
On 4th and 7, Bill Snyder calls a timeout for Kansas State. They want to talk about this, how they're going to go for it. Well, tonight, 2 guys that are looking to become contenders in the welterweight division face off as Neil Magny takes on Kelvin Gastelum, highlighting a full card of great action. It all begins at 7 Eastern right here on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, it is a 28-14 lead for Iowa State. 2:46 to go here in this first half. The Cyclones trying to get that victory over Bill Snyder's team, something that Paul Rhodes has never been able to do. Don't forget, stay tuned for the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show that's coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Well, this is the type of game where you wonder how many punts you're going to see in normal punting down situations, because for both teams, what have they got to lose?
Well, it's 4th and 7 right here. From the 33, they have to get to the 26-yard line. Huebner dropping back. Huebner's pass. It is incomplete. Jumping the route was Jamal Wiltz. Nearly picked it off. And he's actually better off not intercepting that ball because you get better field position on the turnover of downs.
Right. Good coverage all the way around. I think that was where Huebner intended to go with the ball to Andre Davis the entire time. But like you said, it's Jamal Wiltz with the jump on the route and incomplete pass. And again, I think both teams are going to, go for it more than not on 4th down, because if it's close, now obviously you're down 14 points in the second quarter and a little long to kick the field goal, but K-State showing a little desperation there.
1st and 10. Free play here for Iowa State. It's a run for Mike Warren. Going to be encroachment offside against K-State.
Offside. Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
You see most teams nowadays are going out of the shotgun and they have a silent count or use that clap for a count. Even Kansas State, I think, does it to some degree. So it's a little surprising how many defensive linemen for Kansas State are getting the itch to jump off sides this game.
1st and 5. Lanning delayed handoff. Warren up to the 40, gets 2. 2nd and 3. Elijah Lee with the tackle. Elijah Lee came into this game leading the team in tackles with 58. He's got 4 today. Lanning to throw. Lazard makes the catch, a stiff arm, and Lazard gets up to the 46-yard line. They're going to say the 45 now, a 15-yard pickup, the stiff arm against Morgan Burns.
Seems like Lanning has all the cushion in the world when he throws to these outside receivers on these short little out routes, because it's the run game that sets this up. They're so worried about Warren running up the middle and gashing him that the defense is playing off a little bit, and they're picking their times.
A good pass to Lazard, makes the catch, hangs on. Kendall Adams delivered the hit. That's a 16-yard completion to Alan Lazard.
You see it thrown up there. Again, nice put ball in between the 2 defenders. And Lanning's best friend's Mike Warren right now. He's opening all the options on the outside in the passing game.
Lanning Completion, Wesley. And Wesley dragged down at the 12 by Donnie Starks, a 16-yard completion. So 3 big completions in a row. 2 to Lazard, 1 to Jawan Wesley. And now it's 1st and 10 from the 12.
Iowa State picking up the pace a little bit offensively now.
Lanning brings it back. Wesley again in trouble, just falls down at the 16-yard line, a loss of 3.
This is an Iowa State offense that is flipped from what you're used to seeing for years and from the beginning of the season until the offensive coordinator changed by Paul Rhodes. So a run-first, a heavy run-first team that's opening up the passing game, and it seems to be working for the Cyclones.
They have all 3 timeouts remaining, 40 seconds to go here in the half. 2nd and 13. Lanning to the end zone, incomplete. Wow. When do you see that happen?
Yeah, he overthrew him, but...
No, but see what he just did? Knocked down the pylon.
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It's like a trick shot.
I couldn't do that if I stood 5 feet in front of the pylon and you gave me a bucket of balls.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Iowa State, that's their first charge timeout of the half.
Iowa State takes the timeout. Facing 3rd and long here.
You know, I realize we're coming up on the halftime here, so Iowa State's picking up the pace a little bit, but you see what happens when you do run an up-tempo offense. If you don't convert or you don't get positive yardage on 1st down, you end up 2nd and 10, and then you panic, and then you throw the ball long. So here you are, where if you would have just kept, you kept the pace you were going and maybe spent a timeout, if you get a 7 or 8 yard run up the middle, you can kind of play the game that got you all the way down the field.
I was actually surprised they ran that. They didn't run the ball on 1st down here on this series because you had those 3 timeouts remaining.
Well, they went with the receiver screen, to try to catch them off guard, playing a soft zone coverage, and maybe they could get, a couple yards on the outside that way, but it didn't work out.
3rd and 13. Lanning. Back of the end zone, Lazard. He was juggling it, incomplete.
I didn't think he had possession from up here.
Morgan Burns there on the coverage.
Ball again, perfectly thrown. He had it there at the end. Just a matter of if he had it before he stepped out of bounds.
Oh, wow.
Man, that might be one they were going to look at.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete forward pass is under further review.
To me, it looked like his foot was still down on the ground when he did maintain control. We'll see here. You see the left foot down,
there's the catch.
And then the left foot was still down. But we've already seen this game where we thought we knew the answer, but it's impossible to tell there at real speed. He obviously bobbles the ball, but there he has
left foot.
Yeah, when he does get possession with 2 hands around the ball, I can't tell if his left foot's down or not.
Richard Jordan is our replay official here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium for this game.
But regardless if it's a touchdown or not, I mean, to have a sophomore quarterback that just came in and this is his 4th start, I mean, you're seeing him throw the ball with pinpoint accuracy on a number of throws. And I'm not just talking screen passes or little, 8-yard hook curl routes by the tight end. I'm talking, where he's rolling out and throwing on the run to a receiver that's running, opposite direction or in the corner, or a fade throw that he's putting it right where only his guy can get it. I'm pretty impressed with Joel Lanning so far in this game and his ability to throw the ball.
Lanning 10 for 15 as of right now for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Those 2 guys are waiting to find out if it will be their 2nd touchdown they've combined on for the day. Paul Rhodes is thinking, man, if this is 6 points right here, we've got ourselves a really nice lead going into the locker room. Otherwise, he's got a 33-yard field goal attempt coming up.
Right, but you know what? Unfortunately, Kansas State's not happy about this stat, but they've been in this situation a couple times. And like I said, last week.
Let's get the ruling here.
They were down big twice.
By Brad Van Vark.
After further review, the receiver gained possession of the ball with a down in the end zone. It's a touchdown.
Look at the celebration by Paul Rhodes. Love the emotion from him on the sideline. Second touchdown of the game for Lazard.
Yeah, we knew he got possession of the ball. It was just a matter if that left foot was still down, and obviously the ref saw it that way.
They went the 2-minute drill. They get the touchdown. Cole Netton on for the extra point. 35-14. It went to review. It was reversed. The reactions. Joel Lanning likes it. How about Paul Rhodes? He loves it. (35-14). Paul Rhodes' Cyclones on top of K-State. Let's go back to that touchdown pass from Lanning to Allen Lazard.
Great touch by Lanning on the ball, like we had mentioned earlier. Good job and concentration by Lazard getting his feet down. You see, you think Paul Rhodes is fired up? You know, a lot of times they say a team will adopt the personality of their head coach, and if there's any indication there, that team's going to be a fired up team.
Chris Francis to kick off. He'll keep it on the ground, away from Morgan Burns. At the 31 is where K-State will take over. Well, Kansas State, you wonder what their philosophy will be here. Trailing 35-14 with 2 timeouts remaining and 24 seconds to go. But that scoring drive there for Iowa State, they went in the air a lot on that drive, running the 2-minute drill. And then facing 3rd and long, they went to the end zone. Lazard for the touchdown catch. Charles Jones is in at tailback. Hubner, he can throw a deep ball. He takes a shot here to Cody Cook, and Cook makes the catch. That'll stop the clock up at the 44-yard line of Iowa State. A 24-yard completion.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a spark.
That's their second timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Sometimes it's just a spark in a 2-minute situation to get your offense feel, hey, we can do this. You know, that's the first time we've seen Joe throw the ball down the field. It's been 30 minutes of football, and we know he has an arm. So part of the reason is they just haven't possessed the ball. I mean, Iowa State, when they did have a chance to come out and had a good stop earlier in the game after the turnover on downs, they fumbled the ball. So just again, going back to a rhythm. Offense needs to be in a rhythm, and when you don't have possessed the ball and you're down, of course, it throws you out of whack, and Joe's going to have to throw the ball now, and we're going to see what this Iowa State pass rush can look like.
Hubner 5 for 9 for 47 yards on the afternoon. They've got 1 timeout remaining, 18 seconds, just trying to get some points, get in field goal range. Hubner dumps it off to Jones, and Jones alertly runs out of bounds at the 31-yard line, picks up 13, and I love that. I love that by Charles Jones. They've got 1 timeout, but he says, let me save it, get 1 more play, and then kick the field goal.
Well, this is now I'm not comparing this game to last week against Oklahoma State, but this is the conservative defensive play that you saw Iowa State start to implement on the second half, preferably, or more precisely the 4th quarter last week, which allowed Oklahoma State to get back into the game and take the lead and win.
And with 1 timeout remaining, you've got the whole field to use right now if you're Kansas State. Hubner throws to Jones. He's down, and now the timeout has to be called. Down at the 29.
Timeout. Kansas State. That's
Don't forget, coming up,
out of the half.
the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Number 5, Iowa making the playoff push. It's Frank Beamer's final home game at Virginia Tech. And, of course, coming up tonight, a top 10 Big 12 showdown. Now, a field goal from here would be about 46 yards. The long on the season for Jack Cantelli is 44.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, what do you do in this situation? Do you try the field goal?
I try to kick it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you have to get points and go into the halftime with some bit of momentum and putting some points on the board. And you know, if you take a sack here or you throw it away, anything but a touchdown.
Well, how about this? They're not gonna kick the field goal.
Yeah, that's not a shocker either. I mean, we saw him go for 4th and 8 the last time down here.
Look at the defense for Iowa State. 3 guys along the goal line.
Right. It's a 3-5-3. It's like some messed up basketball defense.
They call that junk in basketball. 2nd down and 8. The last play of the half. Huebner to the end zone. It's batted up in the air and incomplete. And that will do it for this first half. Kyle Klein is down. He took a hit as he went up for that ball. And he is slow to get up.
Yeah, Darian Cotton, the safety, coming over.
A great first half for Iowa State. They lead 35-14. Now let's go to Rob, Coach, and Matt in the studio.
All right, Justin, thank you. We welcome you to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Rob Stone, Matt Leinart, Coach Dave Wannstedt with you, who may be talking about Paul Rhoads in a moment. But first, we're going to discuss the quarterback for Mr. Paul Rhoads in our State Farm Double Check highlight, Matty.
Yeah, Joel Lanning has been very, very good this year, and I want to credit Paul Rhoads for making some big decisions this year. He fires Mark Mangino a few weeks back. He makes the decision to bench Richardson and bring this new kid in who's a sophomore, and ever since he's been the starting quarterback, he has created a spark. In his last 2 games, he's averaging about close to 300 yards in total offense, and that's a big improvement from what Richardson was getting this team. All in all, they're playing better. They're more competitive offensively, and it starts with this quarterback, Joel Lanning.
Yeah, and you know, Paul worked for me at Pitt, and you know, one thing about him, and you kind of alluded to it, Matt, you know, he makes a change of coordinator. He knows that his job, hey, he's fighting for his job. Everyone knows that. But what I admire about what he's done here with Iowa State's program is he's doing what's best for the program. You know, he makes a change of coordinator. He makes a change of quarterback. How about the running back, Mike Wallace, a redshirt freshman, is 3rd and 4th statistically in the Big 12 coming into this game with long runs and with rushing. So, I mean, he's playing younger players because it feels like it's the best thing for the program. And when you have a coach like that, that's commitment. You got to admire that.
Late on 3rd and 13, he goes for the end zone. The call reversed. They get a touchdown. His emotion.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's real.
right.
The players see that. I mean, that carries over.
So you like Paul Rhoads? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think he's doing a good job of coaching today. They're not going to the national championship. Just trying to give him a little bit of credit.
His agent's getting jealous. You're doing a good job selling them. We'll stay in the heartland next. Take you to Iowa. 8 inches of overnight snow. It's done very little to slow down the Hawkeyes' best start in program history. And later tonight over on Fox, it's a top 10 Big 12 showdown between Baylor and Oklahoma State. 2 teams still in play for a playoff spot. We'll break it down coming up next.
Welcome back to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show.
The Gronkowskis are the football equivalent of the Kardashians, but way better. Glenn Gronkowski, from fullback to quarterback, delivers the strike. Wildcats and Cyclones at the break. We welcome you back to the State Farm Halftime Show. Rob, Matt, Coach with you. The Big Ten Championship game participants could be decided today. Unbeaten and 5th-ranked Iowa with a home win over Purdue would clinch the West.
A little snow up there in now Kinnick Stadium.
3rd and long, C.J. Beathard, Henry Krager, Kobel breaks the tackle, goes 24 yards. Later in the drive, LaShawn Daniels Jr. from 2 yards out.
Yeah, LaShawn's the bigger, stronger running back. Kenzeri is a little quicker guy, and they alternate both running backs. They do a great job.
There's Daniels again, 6 carries, 24 yards, 2 scores, 2nd quarter. Beathard, 7-10, 119 at the half, finds Matt Vandenberg.
He's been the biggest difference for this offense, Coach. C.J. Beathard, they have stability at that position. He's a dual-threat quarterback, really become a good leader for that team.
Last week, Jake Rudock, school record 6 touchdown passes for Michigan. Rudock on the road at Penn State finds J.U. Chesson over the middle, picks up 39 yards. Shuts him down, but he would remain in the game. Next play, Rudock to Jake Butt from 26 out.
You know, well-designed plays by Jim Harbaugh. You know, every pass he puts in, it complements a running play that he has.
Matty, what do you make of Christian Hackenberg this season?
You know what? So much talk of him being the #1 draft pick. He's actually throwing the ball really well in this game. You like to see this kid make more plays.
More from Rudock, though. His 10th touchdown pass in his last 10 quarters. Michigan up 4 in Happy Valley. Frank Beamer coaching his last home game, taking on a Carolina team that with the win would give them the ACC Coastal. A lot of emotions in Blacksburg today. What a wonderful gentleman he is. Marquise Williams, how good has he been finding Austin Kroll, gets past the D. A nice little move, 32 yards. Also, that Carolina-Clemson potential ACC championship game looking spicier and spicier later in the drive. Williams, now responsible for 27 touchdowns on the season, takes it in from 18 out.
You know, they score in this opening drive, which initially you thought they were going to run away with it, but obviously Virginia Tech has something to say.
Yeah, here's Michael Brewer in the second quarter to Isaiah Ford. Led to a Tech field goal. 7-3 at the half, and at the half, the Hokies band comes out. Little love for Beamer ball. Number 21, Memphis, on the road at Temple. Notre Dame saying, come on, Temple. Second quarter, Temple down 6-0. P.J. Walker throws it into the end zone. Raymond DeLoach pulls it in. Going over the defender.
Yeah, Temple, you know, we saw him play a couple times this year. I mean, they've got good athletes at mostly every position.
There's David Hood breaking a tackle from 14 yards out. 14-9 Temple with the lead at the break. Here's a surprising one. FAU at number 8 Florida. Florida, 69 total yards of offense in the first half. FAU is 91st in total D. They allow over 420 a game. This lob ball, wonderful concentration. DeMarcus Robinson.
Great defense.
Can't hold on.
See him get the hand in the hole and strip the ball, Rob. We work on that drill.
Those are highlights. We're showing you incompletions. That's how this game has been. How about a missed field goal? You want it?
And how about
you got it?
How about the fact that this is going to be the team, Florida, who's probably going to play Bam in the SEC championship?
Oh, somebody get Joel Klatt on the phone. Kansas, 13 straight losses. Worst current losing streak in the nation. West Virginia, with the win, they'd become bowl eligible. Terrell Chestnut makes it 14-0 with the pick 6, and then Rochelle.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. West Virginia has kind of leaned toward the running game, away from the pass toward the end of the season here.
42-0 at the break. Let's talk about Iowa trying to go to 11-0 for the first time in school history. Today and through the course of the season, what's impressed you about the Hawkeyes?
Well, they're a complete football team, and everybody would like to say it's old Kurt Ferentz. He's just going to play some defense and run the ball. I mean, they are making big plays with the running game and the passing game, and when you look at them statistically, not to get into all that now, but they're 1, 2, or 3 in most categories, offensively and defensively in the Big Ten, and probably from a team standpoint, the two things that jump out at you, they are
the ball. But they've been scoring fast. That's the difference.
They're going to keep it away from Morgan Burns, or at least try to. Burns will pick it up at the 19. And Morgan Burns brings it out to the 34-yard line, a 14-yard return. A look at the first half stats. And you might say, well, huge advantage in the running game for Iowa State, but really it was that 76-yard touchdown run by Mike Warren, which is the difference right there. Passing yards, big advantage for the Cyclones.
Yeah, like I said, you look at the time of possession, Kansas State's winning that battle right now, but you wouldn't think so because Iowa State, they just scored fast. You had a big run, and like you said, it would have been even, but they've been opportune with their runs. They've been converting first downs and able to keep the chains going. That's when the run's been helping them.
And you got to think right now for Kansas State, you need to get off to a quick start here in this third quarter. Huebner on first down with some time. Now he's going to tuck it and run with it, and Huebner will run towards that first down marker. Let's see where they mark him. And he will get enough for the first down.
This is what I find odd a little bit about Iowa State. They run a 3-man line. Now, granted, this was first down, but they'll do this in nickel situations, in clear passing situations. They'll run a 3-man line. That's only 3 men rushing the quarterback. And when you have a running quarterback like Huebner, you're going to leave lanes wide open for him to run.
1st and 10 from the 43. Pressure coming off the edge. Huebner back to pass again. Down the field, jump ball, and it's incomplete. Going up for it was Andre Davis.
A little bit maybe underthrown, but you see a good thrown ball by Huebner. I mean, he put some velocity on it. That wasn't floating at all. Like we talked about, he has the ability to throw the ball deep. He just hasn't done it so far this game. Only maybe the 2nd or 3rd time at the most he's gone down the field with the ball.
Brian Peavy and Kawan Floyd there on the coverage. Dayton Valentine is the player injured, one of the tight ends for Kansas State, being helped off the field right now. The redshirt freshman, 6'4", 260.
And so far this game, Iowa State's cornerbacks, their defensive backs, have been pretty good against the pass. Now, I'm assuming if this score stays like it is, that you're going to see Kansas State throwing the ball down the field more, trying to play catch-up. But last week against Oklahoma State, at the end, those tall receivers from Oklahoma State were able to get behind them and score and ultimately win the game.
2nd down and 10, Glenn Gronkowski in the backfield. Huebner pumps. Huebner is going to run and lose a yard. Levi Peters with a tackle for a loss.
Again, all the credit goes to the secondary in that play. There was nowhere for Joe to go with the ball, and he had to eat a sack there. 3rd and 11, not very favorable to the offense, especially an offense like this that's based around running and getting into 3rd and short, 3rd and medium situations. That's when they make people pay with their ability to throw the ball off play action.
Both teams 3 for 6 on 3rd downs today. 3rd and 11. Huebner over the middle, completes the pass to Dominique Heath, enough for the 1st down, gets 13. Not the strength of Kansas State, 3rd and long, yet Huebner was able to thread the needle to Heath.
No, that's got to feel good for Joe Huebner to be able to throw a timing pass. Dominique Heath cutting across the middle. That ball had to be on time because he was throwing in a window there between 2 defenders, and that's got to feel good for him to get that ball out on time and make the completion.
On 1st down, handoff for Jones. Has the block by Gronkowski, and Jones able to spin forward up to the 39, gets 6. 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, we're seeing them move the ball a lot like they did in the 1st quarter, where they went down the field and scored. So again, I said it a little bit in the 1st half. This offense needs, well, all offenses, but this offense in particular needs a rhythm. They need the running game to work to open up the passing game and vice versa. And when they do throw the ball, it needs to be on time and completed so that they can open up the run game again. They don't want to be in 3rd and long. And 2nd and 4, that's a perfect situation for Kansas State.
Huebner has split out wide. It is the fullback, Gronkowski, taking the direct snap, and he barrels forward, gets the 1st down. Runs right over Jordan Harris. We've already seen Gronkowski throw for a touchdown on a fullback pass, and now he runs on a direct snap to him.
And we're seeing Dana Dimel, the offense coordinator, open up a little bit more of that fullback package, that heavy package, whatever you want to call it, with Gronk. Obviously, you just mentioned the touchdown pass to Dimel, and now here a little trickery with Huebner lining up with the wide out position and taking a direct snap to Gronk.
1st and 10. Burton in motion. Huebner, he's going to run. And Huebner able to tack on a couple more yards after being hit initially by Kawan Floyd. He gets 5. And look at this. Now it's 2nd down and 5. So those completions have set up easy 1st down runs.
Well, it was a good job by Joe Huebner being patient like we had talked about, but he didn't see Kawan Floyd coming. That's a nice hit, nice tackle, and that's one way to get a quarterback to start looking around for who's coming after him when you take a couple hits like that. But again, manageable 2nd down.
8th play of the drive for K-State. 2nd and 5. They swing it out. Heath. Dominique Heath up to the 19-yard line. Actually, 20-yard line. 1st down. Gets 9. Kawan Floyd runs him out.
A little swing pass to Heath just to stretch the defense out a little bit. Maybe catch him hovering over the middle of that field a little bit after the success they've had running it up the middle in this drive. But this is the balance Snyder was talking about. He wants to be able to run the ball, pass the ball, but not just run it. You see him running it outside. You see him passing it outside, doing some trick plays. They're moving the ball well.
1st and 10 from the 20. Red zone opportunity. The pass is behind, but a nice play by Heath to make the catch. However, he's going to be wrapped up for a loss by Darian Cotton, who loses a yard.
Well, there's a prime example of Joe Huebner not being, his one downfall right now is his accuracy, and he throws that ball and gives Dominique Heath a chance to run forward and catch that. Maybe he makes the corner miss and gets a big play out of that, but he had to go back and get the ball, gave the defensive player an opportunity to jump on him and lose some yards there.
2nd down and 11 now for K-State. Huebner, quarterback run. And he gets tripped up, picks up 2. So 3rd and 9 coming up here for K-State. Trent Taylor able to trip up Joe Huebner.
And linebacker Taylor tripped him up, and Brian Mills finished him off, and that's a good tackle by those guys, because Huebner's so well at running that delayed quarterback draw, that design draw, that if he can run over some arm tackles. So that was a good stop. Force him in a 3rd and long situation.
Huebner looking towards the sideline. On 3rd and 9, pressure coming. Gets rid of it to Cook, and Cook has a 1st down. Up to the 8-yard line. 1st and goal from the 8 coming up. A couple of big 3rd down conversions on this drive.
Well, what do you do when you can't get to the quarterback and he's got all the time in the world to throw the ball? You blitz. But in this case, you bring 5 or 6 guys, and you're still not able to get there, which leaves receivers one-on-one against the DBs in the backfield there. And if you could throw the ball accurate and on time, you're gonna pick them apart, and that's exactly what Joe Huebner's doing to this Cyclone defense so far in this drive.
And Wally Burnham, the defensive coordinator for Iowa State, frustrated there on the sidelines. Jones on the handoff. Jones to the end zone, touchdown. 8-yard touchdown run for Charles Jones in a great opening drive of the half for Kansas State.
Well, that is just what Kansas State needed to answer that first half of Iowa State. Luke Hayes, he's going to pull and kick out the defensive end, or the outside linebacker, I should say, on a counter play. And Jones is going to go virtually untouched in the end zone.
Jack Cantelli on for the extra point. "12 plays.
Quick, and that's what Kansas State did on that drive.
Patterson with the kickoff. A return for Wesley. And Wesley gets out to the 24-yard line. The shotgun. Handoff is to Warren up the middle. And Warren gets tackled by Marquell Bryant.
Good job by Bryant shedding his block at the defensive end position and making that tackle in the hole for a relatively short game. It was 4 yards, and that's a good game. But by the standard Warren's been putting up in this game, that's a good step.
2nd and 6. Lanning. The pass is complete to Wesley. And Wesley tried to cut it back, and by cutting it back, he does not get the first down. Picks up 5. Elijah Lee with a tackle. So 3rd and short coming up here for the Cyclones.
This is a key 3rd down. Like you said, how do they respond? Last week a little bit, I think they got too lax in the 3rd and especially the 4th quarter against Oklahoma State, just playing not to lose instead of keeping the foot on the gas, which looks like they're doing it to this point. But this is a crucial 3rd down.
3 for 6 on 3rd downs in the first half. It's kept by Lanning. He's got the first down, and Lanning gets tripped up across the 45, down to 47. Nate Jackson, the shoestring tackle, a 16-yard run.
Excellent play call by offensive coordinator Todd Sturdy. Everybody in the stadium thought Mike Warren was getting that ball on the dive. Lanning pulls the ball back and sees the defensive end close and was able to pick up the crucial first down.
I believe the player down is Will Davis, number 35. Oklahoma State after leading big 24-7. And here they are now trying to snap a 7-game losing streak against Kansas State. The handoff here to Warren breaks a couple tackles, and he brings it up to the 45 of Kansas State.
It's the second time they've run that misdirection play where they send the tight end, Ben Bozen, back across the grain. The offensive line runs to the left, gets the defense flowing, and Mike Warren, the running back, who's had a phenomenal day so far, takes it up in second and short.
Second down and 2 here for Iowa State. Handoff to Warren again. And he'll get just one, so 3rd and 1 coming up. Morgan Burns with the tackle.
This is what we call chopping wood. This is the time of the game and the situation where you're having success running the ball, and as an offensive line, you want to put that burden on your shoulders, because believe me, what you don't want to do as offensive lineman is pass protect. You never want to pass protect. You always want to run. So you say, hey, coach, keep calling runs. We'll keep blocking it, and we'll eat this clock up. Joshua
Thomas has come in with Mike Warren in the backfield. They're going to hand off to Warren. Warren's got another first down. Able to dive across the 40, marked down to 39, picks up 5. Travis Britz with the tackle.
Yeah, just like we talked about in the open, all right, Iowa State's 3-7. Well, like you just went down the schedule there. I mean, you play Iowa. Who'd have thought that Iowa and Toledo would be, 19-1 at this point in the season? They couldn't. Big 12's bad enough as it is. And then your non-conference is just as worse, or just as bad, or not worse.
First down, Lanning back to pass. Pressure. Lanning. Just good pocket awareness by Joel Lanning.
Yeah, he learned. He held onto the ball a little bit too much on that sack. That they were lucky that they ruled a incomplete pass, not a fumble. And like I said before, a young quarterback, he's just got to learn. Here you see where he just that clock went off in his head. He said, I got to get out of here. I'm about to get hit. And it's good job.
Delayed handoff to Warren. And Warren with a second effort up to the 36. 4 yards. Duke Shelley with the tackle. You talk about the tough schedule in this Big 12. In the gauntlet, which is known as Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, TCU, Baylor. They're combined 36-3, and the similarities between these two programs in the games against the gauntlet. Some close ones. 5 for 8 on 3rd down. 3rd and 5. Lanning trying to find somewhere to go. Looking to make something out of nothing, and gets up to the 31.
Again, good pocket awareness. That's an excellent job by Kansas State's defense. I believe they blitzed 6 or 7 on that play. So every one of those defensive backs are one-on-one. You see them. There was an open guy in the middle, but I don't think Lanning could see him. There was such traffic in the middle of the offensive line with all those blitzers. Good job pulling it down and running with it. But here you see a 4th and 2, and Iowa State's going for it.
In that in-between spot, field goal range or first down, they're going to try to get it. Running the option with Lanning. He keeps it, and Lanning gets stuffed. A turnover on downs, and Mike Warren was open on the pitch if he wanted it. Kendall Adams with a tackle.
Well, we talk about losing momentum, and momentum swinging back side to sides, and it's all on Kansas State right now.
Kansas State scored a touchdown on their opening drive. Now they stuff Iowa State on 4th down. They get the ball back, down by 14. College football on FS1 is presented by Kay Jewelers here at the newly renovated Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Beautiful facility here in Manhattan, Kansas. Kansas State takes over on downs at their own 30. This is a huge, huge drive for both teams right now. Is there a momentum shift in the game? Jones splits out wide. Huebner gonna run. Huebner, lot of green. And Joe Huebner is up to the 46-yard line, a 16-yard run. Jamal Wiltz finally brings him down.
And that was a design run for Joe Huebner all the way. You see Jones go in motion, and Huebner was always taking that play back. He took one of the defenders with him on a short side of the field, and there was only, they had the numbers offensively. See, there's nobody over there, one-on-one for Joe Huebner. Good play call, good design.
Empty backfield here now for Huebner. Cook in motion, will take the handoff, looking to throw, and now he's going to run instead. And Cody Cook picks up 3. Regan Northrup on the tackle, and Cody Cook, who has played quarterback this year for Kansas State, he wanted to throw that ball.
Yeah, another trick play, a good design trick play that you haven't seen much before out of Kansas State. Actually, you said it was empty backfield, but really Dimmel and Gronkowski were lined up as like wing, almost tight ends right off the line of scrimmage, and they were sent out to block for Cody Cook to be able to throw that ball. And again, they're pulling everything out. There's no stops here for Kansas State today.
2nd down and 7. Play clock is down to 2. Huebner over the middle, wide open. Cody Cook, a first down to the 34 of Iowa State, 18-yard completion.
See Cook in the slot. He's just going to avoid the defenders and find that sweet spot in that zone. And again, I go back to it, but I think Iowa State has a tendency to get a little conservative. And like in the game open, I said, you have young players playing in key positions. You've got to learn how to win.
Yep.
And it's easy to give away a game, but it's hard to keep the foot on the gas when you're up.
1st and 10. Jones breaks the tackle. Charles Jones to the 27, gets 8. Northrup with a tackle again. You know, it's kind of like what you had said about learning how to win, or when you play with a big lead in basketball, how do you avoid that trap of letting the team back in? You got to almost take that lead and extend it.
Well, you know, it's human nature to, you play a little softer. They've got to score, so that they're at some point going to go over your head. So you play a little bit more as far as coverage goes, a little softer, but then you leave the middle of the field, the intermediate stuff open.
Jones trying to dive forward for that first down. He's going to get it. Brian Mills with his 8th tackle.
But you got to remember, let them go. If you're Iowa State, let them go between the 20s all they want. This is where you have to button down. Force them to make a decision. Are they going to kick a field goal, a long field goal? Are they going to go for it? Obviously it's first down here, but this is where you want to tighten your grasp and give ground grudgingly. But the momentum is fully in Kansas State's corner right now, and their sideline knows it as well as Iowa State's.
On first down, Jones again. Jones takes a big hit, marked down at the 18.
Yeah, this isn't a battle of two teams that are 3-7. They're just hoping to, get the season over with and enjoy their offseason. These guys are hitting, they're flying around. Neither one of these teams want to lose. It would have been easy for Kansas State at this point to pack it in and say, hey, we were down 35-14. But they're coming back strong.
By the way, look at the game clock. We're winding down this third quarter right now. It has been all K-State. The final play of this quarter. Handoff to Jones again. And Jones looks like he's going to be right by that marker. 3rd down and short coming up when the 4th quarter begins. This third quarter, it was all Kansas
That's the end
State.
of the third
Paul
quarter.
Rhodes and Iowa State hoping to snap a 7-game losing streak against the Wildcats, but the momentum right now is for K-State, down by 14 as we go to the fourth. The second quarter was all Iowa State. Third quarter only scoring was for K-State, and now they're facing 3rd and 1 to open up this fourth quarter. Huebner keeps it. A quarterback sneak, and it looks like he has the distance for the first down.
It's about the only time you'll see quarterbacks nowadays under center anymore is when they're going to sneak it. That should be a pretty telltale sign.
It is a first down for Kansas State. This is where things could get really interesting. If K-State's able to punch it in against Wally Burnham's defense, you've got a one-score game, and what do you know? That's what always happens with these two teams. High snap, handoff Jones. Jones gets hit hard. Wrapped up, Brian Mills, Kawan Floyd combined for the tackle, a pickup of 1.
You said, I mean, these games are always come down to a score, most of the time within a score, and we've got something going here if K-State can keep this momentum going. But you look back, it's not surprising what they did against Oklahoma State last week. Down 28-7, came back within striking range. Went down again big, came back.
2nd down and 9. Huebner to pass, high, incomplete for the fullback Winston Dimmel.
You know, in a game that's close like this and you're evenly matched teams and you kind of look, it's almost like playing yourselves in the mirror. You're going to only have so many opportunities. Iowa State's running the ball, Kansas State's running the ball, the clock's flying by. Joe Huebner needs to make that pass. You know, that needs to be connected, because what's going to happen then, that's going to force your defense to loosen up and allow the run game to work again and maybe score on the ground here. But here you are, 3rd and long.
3rd and 9. They're 6 for 9 on 3rd downs today. Huebner pumps a couple of times. Now he's going to run. Huebner again takes a big hit, shy of the first down. He's down at the 7. And again, you're thinking, man, you want to see him slide, but he's thinking, I need a first down. But it's Northrup, Tucker, and Harris.
He's got to know where the chains are in the first down marker, because he wasn't going to make that one. And he's 4 or 5 yards short. Now, obviously, they're going for it. They need to definite 4-down territory here, but
they have to get to the 3 for the first down. 4th and 4. Trailing by 14. Passing on 4th and 4 to the end zone. Touchdown! Cody Cook.
well,
3rd touchdown of the year receiving for Cody Cook. And that's a big, big play by the Wildcats.
he's in the slot here, going to run a square out and beat Darian Cotton in the end zone. That's a good thrown ball by Joe Huebner. Had a couple throws he wish he could have had back, but put it on the money when it counted there on 4th down.
And now it's Jack Cantelli. Hang on, hold on.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
Cody Cook's going, what? Let's see if he had possession the entire time.
Oh, it came out. It came out and hit the ground. Now, this is one of those things where, you know, there's this kind of new gray area on this rule. Obviously, he had possession and got feet down inbounds in the end zone, but it's going to, but the new rule, the new argument is, did he maintain possession while going to the ground? And
honestly, I have no idea, because I don't think anybody has an idea anymore in the NFL or in college what is a catch, what is not a catch.
Yeah, I mean, it became so messed up. And you see, he had the ball, he rolled over, every inch of his body. It made contact with the ground, which would signal that he had possession while he was down. But, this new thing came up. Did he maintain possession while he went to the ground? And we've had some interesting calls so far. Let's see what they rule this one at. I mean, you think he's half a knee bend away from standing up and dropping the ball. I mean, it's like you don't know. I got a feeling this one will stick.
And then let's say it gets reversed, right?
Well, it's fourth down. Then
now it's Iowa State ball.
It's Iowa State ball, and I just somehow replay at both levels, the college and the NFL, became a sure thing backup, kind of a tool to almost a liability. It's.
Well, when you think it is one thing, it's the other thing.
Right.
And
well, look at the first touchdown we had that was overturned, or they reviewed here. It looked to us that he was clearly across the line of scrimmage while the knee was down, and they didn't see that.
After further review, the ruling on the field of a touchdown is confirmed.
Yeah, I know what they're saying when they say has to maintain control of the ball when you go to the ground, but at that point he was already on his way up from rolling over. So
Jack Cantelli on for the extra point. Cantelli's kick is good. In Farmageddon, it's a one-score game. K-State has come all the way back. They trail by a touchdown here in the fourth quarter. Today's Lincoln Motor game summary looks like this. First half versus second half. Iowa State has done nothing with the ball in the second half. Time of possession in favor of Kansas State, and K-State has made this one a ball game, 35-28. Here with 13-13 to go in this fourth quarter.
Well, you said it earlier. I mean, second half was all Iowa State, or second quarter. Third quarter was all Kansas State. Kansas State didn't have the ball at all in the second quarter. They couldn't do anything. You can't score if you don't have the ball. Same thing Iowa State. They were able to move the ball, but they couldn't finish with points. And like we said, the momentum pendulum is always swinging, and it's been in Kansas State's corner this half.
Ian Patterson to kick off. Jawan Wesley from the 15. Nowhere to go. Good coverage on special teams. He gets it out to the 19-yard line. A 4-yard return. Time for a game break. Let's check in with Jenny Taft.
Thanks, Justin. Well, Purdue was making things interesting against undefeated Iowa, down just a touchdown until C.J. Beathard connects with George Kittle, 35 yards for the score, and the fifth-ranked Hawkeyes are now up 33-13 in the fourth quarter. Justin?
All right, so it looks like Iowa has that one under control. Iowa State here does not have this under control against Kansas State. Leading by touchdown, about 13 minutes to go. Mike Ward in the backfield, landing in the shotgun. On first down, play action. The pass is complete to Quentin Bundridge. His first completion, his first reception of the day. And Bundridge, a good run after the catch, 22 yards up to the 41.
Well, that play goes because of left tackle, big Jake Campos, 6'8", 297 pounds, gets out there with agility and drives this guy to the ground. You don't think they're playing hard out there today?
Lanning rolling out to his right. He's going to run. Lanning has a block by Lazard. He's across midfield, runs out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Picks up 14. A good run by Lanning.
Both offenses are playing extremely well today. They're efficient. They're doing what they wanted to do. Run the ball first, open up the passing game when they need it. And both defenses have been on their heels for the majority of the day today.
First and 10, both backs in. Thomas and Warren. Warren splits out. Lanning, quarterback draw. And Lanning up to the 40. Shermichael Moore with the tackle.
You've seen that play on both sides now. Kansas State and Iowa State running it. They clear out part of the defense by sending one of the backs in motion, hoping they're playing man and a linebacker will run out with him. And it's a design lead draw for the quarterback. And so far for both teams, it's worked. I think it's averaged 5 yards a pop here. It seems like they're really good runs for both these teams.
2nd down and 6 here for Iowa State. Lanning with time, throws, completes the pass to Bundridge again. And Bundridge has the first down as he gets up to the 29. 11-yard pickup. Morgan Burns with the tackle.
Just a simple shallow cross pattern by Bundridge out of the slot, and finds that shallow zone, a little shallow spot in the zone to run through, and again moving the chains.
Justin Kutcher alongside Steve Hutchinson here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. 4th quarter. Lanning, pump fake, taking the shot down the sideline, incomplete, intended for DeVario Montgomery. First time he's been targeted today. Morgan Burns there on the coverage.
Well, they've picked on Morgan Burns a lot today. A lot of his passes have been going to his side of the field. That's a good job of him responding and breaking up that pass.
Second and 10 for the Cyclones. Lanning 14 for 19, 182 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. Warren splits out, empty backfield. Lanning to run, and look at filling the gap there was Will Geary. And that's a big stop by Geary, because Lanning, he thought he had a whole bunch of green to work with.
Yeah, again, they're going to motion Warren out of the backfield, try to take somebody with him. Do the draw action, but Geary wasn't fooled. We haven't called his name a lot. I mentioned him and Travis Britz, number 95 earlier, but those two guys have been the backbone of this team going through this stretch of 6 losses. They've been the guys, the glue holding this team together and continuing to make them fight it game in and game out. And that's a big stop like you had mentioned, Justin.
3rd and 8, play clock down to 2. Pressure coming. Lanning, he goes down. Sacked by Kendall Adams, and that takes them out of field goal range.
Kendall Adams is, I think, the defensive MVP for this game so far for Kansas State. You see him coming on a blitz there. Nowhere to go with the ball for Lanning. Third and long, and
you're looking at what would be about a 52, 53-yarder. And maybe, well, now they're bringing in Holden Kramer. And Kramer is known as the guy who makes the pooch punts. So that was a huge play by Kendall Adams, because it was a good drive by Iowa State.
Yeah. Well,
and now a delay of game penalty will be called here against Iowa State.
Well, you count that last sack, that's Kendall Adams' 13th tackle this game from the safety spot. So that's a pretty good day's work. Game's not over yet.
Delay a game, offense. That penalty is declined, 4th down.
And by the way, for Kendall Adams, that's coming after a career-high 7 tackles in his first career start last week against Texas Tech. Dominique Keith is back for K-State. It's Holden Kramer to punt. Trying to pin K-State, and this will go into the end zone. So K-State will have it at the 20. Down by a touchdown here in the 4th quarter. It's getting good for Farmageddon. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the Movember Foundation in their commitment to changing the face of men's health. Join us at moteam.co/Fox-Sports to learn more about how we are getting involved in the Movember movement. First and 10 from the 20 for Kansas State, down by 7. On first down, quarterback run for Huebner. And Huebner lowered that shoulder, tried staying on his feet, picks up 5. Levi Peters with his 5th tackle of the day. Hutch, this is a big possession right now in the game yet again, because momentum is on Kansas State's side. You just get the sense that Iowa State's thinking, not again.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And the old cliche saying, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And this is the most important drive for both sides of the ball right now.
2nd and 5. Huebner to pass to Gronkowski. Nearly fumbled it. Forward progress up to the 41.
Most teams would use that little pop pass as a changeup. These guys use it as a staple, and they're good at it. I mean, they're so good at drawing the linebackers in, thinking it's a quarterback draw. And again, everything is set up by the run game. And in Kansas State, the quarterback draw, the quarterback design run is a staple of their run game. So when these linebackers sneak up to the line of scrimmage and think he's running, he pops it over their head. And big game. Here they are almost at midfield already.
And now it's Gronkowski again in the Wildcat formation with Huebner down low. Gronkowski to throw again, and that's a dangerous play.
Yeah,
they were looking for a penalty.
Yeah, looking for a penalty, but I don't think that ball was catchable. I think that's why you didn't see the yellow laundry coming out of the ref's pocket there, because that ball landed about 10, 12 yards past where the
Winston
receiver
Dimmel was the intended receiver. Darian Cotton was there on the coverage, and now 2nd down and 10 here for K-State.
Yeah, they went for the same combination that they scored on earlier in the game. Gronk to Dimmel with that pop pass.
Huebner, pass, lot of contact, no flags. The pass intended for Deontay Burton, Sammy Richardson on the coverage.
Yeah, backup corner there, and that's great play. But here's the thing: you see a little tug there, but in my opinion, you saw the hand out by when both guys got the arms out. They're kind of feeling where each other are. Granted, there was a little tug at the end there, and I don't think the line judge could see that. But sometimes when it's going both ways, they're going to let them play.
3rd and 10. K-State 6 for 10 on 3rd downs. Huebner throws to Jones, trying to make a couple of moves, and Jones will get stopped. So with 8:01 to go and now under 8, a 6-yard pickup, 4th down coming up. Jay Jones, Willie Harvey combined for the stop. You got a punt. If you're Kansas State, Nick Walsh is on to punt.
The crowd doesn't like the decision, but I think it's the right way to go. You're only down by 1 score.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of time on the clock, and the way that the momentum's in your favor and the way your defense has been playing, I'd punt them and pin them and try to get even a shorter field than you have now next time around.
Alan Lazard is back to punt, a dangerous return man himself, a short punt, and the fair catch is made at the 21, a 33-yard punt. 7:26 to go. Iowa State with a chance again to extend the lead. They lead by 7. Things changed for this offense when Mike Warren took over as a starting running back. You see what he did since taking over against Toledo. 245 yards against Texas Tech. He's got 167 today. 6 games of 100 yards this year. Leads all FBS freshman running backs in yards, and he gets the ball again here on 1st down. And he will get 2 yards. Tackled by Shermichael Moore, 2nd down and 8.
Again, that off-tackle play where they pull the center around. Jamison Locke tries to get out and get a block on the linebacker, but wasn't able to get a clean as one as he's had earlier in the game that sprung Warren a few times.
7 minutes to go. Both teams with their full allotments of timeouts here in this 4th quarter. Handoff to Warren again. Gets a block, and Warren has the 1st down. Dragged down by Shermichael Moore once again.
Well, now you start playing, if you're Iowa State, You start playing you're getting into 4-minute situation territory here where you start counting the number of first downs you might need and playing that against the timeouts remaining, which Kansas State has all 3 here.
And it looked to me like Warren was trying to fall inbounds.
Yeah.
A heads-up play by him. They give it to him again. He fumbles the ball. Kansas State has recovered. Duke Shell, the true freshman, recovers the fumble.
Well, just when we give him a compliment the play before, saying good job going down inbounds and keeping the clock moving, gets a little sloppy with the ball there. You see, as he went to make that cut, the ball comes away from his body, it swings out from his body there on that right arm, and looks like Jordan Willis was able to get a hand on the ball when he went through the hole there, and huge turnover. I talked about that last drive being key. This one is huge.
And Jamison Locke and Wendell Tyesse had his arm around him the entire time, going to the bench trying to console him. So now it's K-State ball at the 38 of Iowa State, trailing by a touchdown. Oh, things are getting interesting. Huebner, designed run, and Huebner's going to get stood up. Brian Mills, a loss of 3.
It's a good answer after a momentum swing, change of possession for the defense. That's something I know every team in America works on at any level. Change of momentum, change of possession, quick change. You got to be able to go out there and do your thing, and that's a good stop. You know, the defense have been mostly porous for both teams this whole game. The offense is up and down the field. They've both stepped it up here as of late.
Huebner, back to pass. Dumps it off to Jones, able to handle it, and he gets out, skips out at the 34-yard line, picks up 7. Now 3rd and manageable. Mike Warren on the bench, still being spoken to, just so upset with himself.
Well, that's, as a young player, you got to learn to let it go, and he's got to know that if he has an opportunity to get back out there and they're going to put the game on his shoulders if they get out there, that he needs to do it, so he's got to shrug it off.
It's been a whole new game here in the second half. Huebner gets hit as he releases it, tipped up in the air, incomplete. Deontay Burton, the intended receiver. Huebner took a shot, and now 4th down coming up, and they're going to go for it. They have to.
Well, if you're Bill Snyder, you say, well, wait a minute. You know, we punted, they got the ball, and then they were gashing us, and we were lucky to get that fumble, but we don't know if we can stop them again. So here you are coming up on the 5-minute mark. They're going to have something, at least the first down here. Joe Huebner's got to know they don't need to score here. They just need to get the first.
4th and 7. And now a timeout will be taken by Bill Snyder and K-State. Big play coming up. 4th and 7 for Kansas State, down by 7 with 5:12 to go. This is just the beginning of a great day of football here on Fox and FS1. The nightcap over on Fox, Baylor against Oklahoma State. Huge implications here in the Big 12 and for the college football playoff. Well, it's 4th and 7 now for Kansas State. They're 1 for 2 on 4th down. Charles Jones is in at tailback. Out of the timeout for the Wildcats. Huebner back to pass, the slant for Cody Cook, and it's broken up. Brian Peavy jumped the route and able to break it up. A big-time play by the redshirt freshman.
That's the second pass I believe we've seen him break up today, a key pass, one along the sideline earlier in the game. And Iowa State was bringing the blitz. They knew they were going to force Joe Huebner to throw the ball to something quick, and Peavy knew it, that the in route by Cody Cook there was the one they was going to, and great job jumping in and getting a hand at the last second. That's good football.
And now, if you're Iowa State, Paul Rhodes, yes, you think this game means anything to him? Trying to beat Bill Snyder and K-State for the first time in his career. And now you're just trying to run this clock out with Mike Warren See if he can do what he's been doing all day, except for that one fumble. They give it back to him. And Warren pushing that pile. Still going. And with the effort from Warren and his offensive line, they get the first down, a 10-yard run.
You know, you talk about, you hear defensive linemen, defensive coaches talk about you got to earn the right to rush the passer. Which you got to stop the run all game long, and then you get the glory of the sacks. For offensive line, it's the opposite. They've earned the right to run the ball and put the game on their shoulders at this point. So keep feeding them the ball and try to run the clock out. Now, on the opposite side, Kansas State, they've got to put their heels in the ground and stop them.
Warren again. And I don't know if you noticed, but Warren, when he goes in, you see him cover up with two hands.
Yeah, well, I wonder why, right? I mean, the last series, he coughed up the ball and was lucky to not give up any points or tie the game up because of it.
2nd down and 9. Iowa State happy to take time off the clock.
Well, another thing that becomes a key deal in this game here is you notice that Kansas State has 2 timeouts. They took a timeout going into that 4th down play, and that could be huge. That could be one less potential first down that they would need if they're trying to run this clock out.
2nd down and 9. It's kept by Lanning. And Lanning back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 9 coming up.
Well, Kansas State obviously ready for that. They know the situation. Iowa State's not trying to score any more points. They're just trying to get another first down and maybe get positive yards after that. Maybe one more first down after that.
Well, so here's what do you do though? It's 3rd and 9.
It's 3rd and 9. So
you don't want to. If you throw an incomplete pass, stops the clock.
You're stopping the clock. You can take it under 3 minutes if you run it, and then you punt, and you make them. You make Huebner drive the length of the field.
In the shotgun, Lanning trying to extend the play. He's going to run, and Lanning is going to lose a yard. Shermichael Moore brings him down, a loss of 2. And so the defense for K-State does its job.
Right.
And they're going to force a punt. And now you're hoping, if you're Iowa State, to give K-State a real long field to march down.
Right. Well, the fact that he held onto the ball and didn't throw it away to avoid the sack, because really you're at midfield. It's 2 yards on a sack, because you want to be able to punt the ball and pin him in there. So they ended up taking another minute off the clock by him not throwing the ball incomplete.
We got whistles all over the place.
It looks like Kansas State took a timeout.
It looks like they maybe had too many men on the field. That's what Paul Rhodes is trying to say.
There is no foul for illegal substitution. Kansas State has called their 2nd charge timeout of the half.
Well, that's a big problem for K-State to have to burn the timeout right there. Now they've got 1 timeout remaining. And look at that. All that time came off the clock, and they still had to burn the timeout. That's big. Well, tonight, 2 guys that are looking to become contenders in the welterweight division face off as Neil Magny takes on Kelvin Gastelum, highlighting a full card of great action. And it all begins at 7 Eastern right here on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. But back to this game, 2:33 to go. Now just 1 timeout remaining for K-State.
Timeouts. There's a lot of time in college football right now. 2:33 with a timeout. You get a first down, clock stops, as we all know in college football. It's not like the NFL where you want at least a minute and a half and a couple timeouts to be able to drive the length of the field. Now, we're assuming that they're going to get no return here. If you can get a big return out of Dominique Heath out of this punt return, and who knows? Might not have to go the whole length of the field.
Colin Downing to punt. Paul Rhodes still speaking with the officials.
Looks like he wants a little bit better explanation as to why that flag was picked up. And by the body language, he's not happy with the answer he got.
Well, so now here's I guess the point that you were bringing up. If you are Colin Downing, you want to try to pin K-State as far back as you can, but you also don't want to give Heath the chance to return it, do you?
No, I mean, I think what you do is you directional kick and you line drive it so it tries to go. Try to get it to go out of bounds. I know easier said than done inside the 20. You can't give him an opportunity to return this thing, because even a 20 or 25-yard return sets him up at midfield.
I agree. Downing. Not a good punt. Marked down at right about the 25-yard line. On some. And now it's up to Joe Huebner and the offense of K-State to go against this defense for Iowa State. And you see what they've done here. A couple of touchdowns, the last two, a punt and a turnover on downs. And here is Huebner taking over at the 26. One timeout remaining. Huebner on first down, taking the shot, and that is caught. Deontay Burton, 25 yards.
Well, we talked about Huebner's ability to throw the ball accurately deep, and boy, what a beautiful throw there to Burton. Throws the ball towards the sideline, over the heads of the defenders where they couldn't get to it. Both Floyd and Peavy in the defense, but good ball.
Floyd was hurt on the play. Huebner gets sacked. Never saw it coming. Luke Knott.
Wow, that's a huge play. Yeah, you saw some blitzing so far out of this game by Iowa State, and you see coverage there, but I don't think he had a chance to even get through his progressions, because that sack came in a hurry.
A loss of 9. Now 2nd and 19 over the middle, tipped, incomplete. Looking for Burton again. Sam E. Richardson on the coverage. So 3rd and 19, and again, it's obvious 2-down territory, but you don't need all 19 back here.
And we saw Sam Richardson earlier break up a pass too, and Wally Burnham, the defense coordinator, has got to be happy on how his secondary's played overall to this point today. Now, granted, it's been a kind of a running game today, but there was some beautiful deflections by his secondary against these K-State receivers.
3rd and 19. Huebner over the middle, and it's incomplete. Brian Peavy had it. His own man ran into him, Jamal Wiltz, and that knocked it loose.
Now 4th down.
Beautiful protection, great job by the offensive line, giving him all day to go through his progressions. But again, there's not much separation by these receivers from Kansas State to the secondary of Iowa State. Brian Peavy should have had an interception, but knocks it down. Now, and don't go to sleep if you're Iowa State here, because Joe Huebner can throw the ball 100 miles an hour on a rope in 15 yards.
Iowa State.
For 15 yards from him is nothing.
That's a timeout taken by Iowa State. Their first timeout. Remember, 4th and 19. Paul Rhodes has never beaten K-State. Right. Now they're trying to do it here against K-State.
Well, Iowa State's got to be thinking, if we can keep them converting this first down, that's it. Because Kansas State only has one timeout left. And there's a minute and a half left on the clock.
No doubt.
So this is kind of your ball game here.
4th and 19. Pressure coming. Huebner puts it up. It's incomplete. Looking for Cook, and now the sideline starts celebrating for Iowa State.
Man, you feel bad for Joe Huebner there, because they battled and battled and battled all game and came back. You see Paul Rhodes there. I think he's happy, but for Joe Huebner to throw a ball that didn't have a chance. You almost want to throw it to where if it's intercepted, it's intercepted, but give the guy a chance to catch the ball. And yeah, that's kind of Kansas State's season in a nutshell there. They battle, they fight, and there's no quit in this team.
Iowa State, you can almost bet it's going to be Lanning or Warren on a carry. It's Warren. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Let's see. Did he lose the ball again? He did.
He did.
Unbelievable. Elijah Lee came away with it.
Rolling on the field is a fumble recovered by Kansas State. First down.
Wow.
Mike Warren is still on the ground.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. You can, well,
You can't tell when the ball is coming
when the
loose,
ball's
when the
out,
ball
but you
is
can
down.
see his knee is down, but you don't know where the ball is. And of course, those defenders are taught to grab hold, and all you can do. Will Geary there, the nose tackle, is just trying to rip the ball out. And we've talked about how it needs to be conclusive in order to overturn, and we can't tell when that ball's out. And the ruling on the field was it a fumble. So
Will Geary is the player who stripped him. Forced fumble and a fumble recovery last week. Not good to see Mike Warren being helped off the field. The ruling on the field is going to stand, which is what we thought it would, just because how do you look and see through that replay to overturn it?
You can't.
The ruling on the field of a fumble by Iowa State is under further review.
Well, that wasn't the announcement we were expecting.
Right.
Here's my question. There is all that time. There is all that time for the replay, for the replays, and now we're going to have
After
it.
further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. First down.
So here we go. We thought the game was over. Haha, just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what they wanted to do is make sure the people that were scooting out early got stuck in the stairwell trying to leave, and then they had to come back to their seats.
It's like the Miami Heat against San Antonio Spurs. Yeah. Ray Allen hits the 3. Everyone wants back in.
Sorry. Shouldn't have left.
Huebner takes over at his own 45.
I would expect pressure by Iowa State here.
Huebner, good protection, throws over the middle, complete. Andre Davis down inside the 15, at the 13. Wow, 46 yards.
Well, it just goes to show you how much momentum and emotion plays into a game. I mean, the team was down and out. Here you see Andre Davis just flat beat the defender on a post route, and huge play.
Huebner. He's going to run. And Huebner gets shoved out of bounds by Brian Peavy. The fans want a flag, but there should not be one.
Now, he pushed him while he was still in bounds. We'll get a look at it here. It was close. It was close.
That one career game-winning drive in triple overtime against Louisiana Tech. They're down by 7. Second down and 5. Huebner, pump fake, keeping it. Huebner going forward. He gets up to the 5-yard line. Maybe to the 4. It's going to be 3rd and 1. The clock should be going. The clock is stopped.
The clock stopped for about 10 seconds there. We can't figure that one out.
Handoff, Jones, touchdown! Kansas State capitalizing off the turnover, and now an extra point away from tying it up.
Well, you said this game's always close when you do it. You weren't lying. That's just a good, strong run by Charles Jones, keeping the legs churning, driving in there.
Now it's Jack Cantilli. All tied up. Who saw this one coming?
Of course, it was all set up by the Warren fumble in the most inopportune time that you could have one.
4 plays, 55 yards, took just 40 seconds. Charles Jones able to punch it in.
When they need a touchdown, who are they going to go behind? Cody Whitehair, the big left tackle, and left guard Boston Stuyvesant. Good job sealing that edge and taking it up there for the score.
And let's keep this in mind. Mike Warren, after that fumble, was helped off the field. So now, if this game were to go to overtime, you don't have Mike Warren available potentially for Iowa State.
And Tyler Brown, we haven't seen, who's you know, I guess the most veteran guy in this group who's had carries the tailback position. Trevor Ryan, who's their utility third down back, who we saw have success in the first half returning punts, who got injured, and we haven't seen him back on the field yet. So you're right. It leaves a true freshman, Joshua Thomas, the lone tailback left for them to be able to use.
And beyond all that, mentally, where Iowa State must be right now, just completely demoralized. You think you have it after 4th and 19. K-State has one timeout. You could, if you really wanted to, maybe take a knee, allow for the timeout, and run off the clock. They didn't. A fumble.
Right.
And now we're tied up. Cantelli will kick off. It's a high, short kick. And Iowa State will cover up, luckily, at the 25-yard line. Whoa.
Now the question is, do you play for overtime or do you try to go?
I think you try to go. You try to get yourself into some field goal range. You got 2 timeouts remaining.
In the field of play. Please reset the game clock to 40 seconds.
You know, it's funny. They reset the game clock there to 40 seconds, but remember all that time that did not come off when K-State had the ball? Interesting. Joshua Thomas is in at tailback.
Remember, he's a true freshman.
Lanning, scrambling, and he goes down at the 29, picks up 4. Shermichael Moore with a tackle, and you can see Paul Rhodes not going to try to stop the clock here.
Right.
Lanning sacked, fumble, loose ball. Recovered by Kansas State, Shermichael Moore.
This is unbelievable. Now, the clock stops on a change of possession. 0. One timeout left for Kansas State, but they might not need it.
Lanning got careless with the ball. Shermichael Moore recovered. Marquel Bryant knocked it loose, and now a 39-yard field goal attempt from this point.
Well, we saw it earlier in the game. Lanning, lack of pocket awareness, thinking he had more time than he did. He got away with a pass that was ruled to be a incomplete pass due to forward motion of his arm. Not this one. And again, you can't. I don't think I've ever seen more inopportune fumbles at the wrong time.
Huebner just running it over to the middle of the field. They'll call the timeout and set up the field goal attempts.
Timeout. Kansas State. That's their 3rd and final timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
I have never seen anything like this.
Well, you mentioned earlier that Jack Cantelli's longest kick is it 43, 44?
44 yards.
All right, 44. Well, Joe Huebner actually lost 2 yards taking that knee, centering the ball. So you're getting close here to that 43, 44.
It's a 42-yard field goal attempt from right here.
Right. So, I mean, you're within a yard or 2 yards from his long. You know, I don't know why he wouldn't have. I get centering the ball to get it in the middle of the field for the kicker and all that, but take it into the line of scrimmage and take a knee. I mean, you can always, you know, give yourself up by taking a knee.
You see his 2 misses this year, 32 and 43. This would have or be one of the biggest comebacks that I can imagine. and one of the most improbable wins if Cantelli can connect here from 42 yards. Remember, Iowa State does have a timeout. They try to ice the kicker. And there is the timeout.
Timeout, Iowa State. That's their second timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Time now for the Dr. Pepper one-of-a-kind play of the game. And really, pick your fumble. Which one do you want? Right. It's this one, the most recent one. That was recovered by Shermichael Moore. Marquell Bryant forced the fumble. And to set up this, we've seen a couple of fumbles from Mike Warren. His last fumble resulted in 7 points for Kansas State.
Well, this fumble would be the play of the game, in my opinion, if they make this kick, because that's the fumble that gave them the win. If he misses this kick, then the one to tie it up would be the one to go with.
Well, they're just hoping that he will miss this kick to send it into overtime.
Right. I guess the point is for Iowa State, it's not good to have back-to-back fumbles when you had the game. All you were a couple of kneels away from winning the game.
So Jack Cantelli from 47 yards. And there is the second timeout.
Timeout, Iowa State. That's their third and final timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
There's ice in the kicker, and then there's deep freezing him.
We told you we've got a good day of college football here on FS1 and on Fox, and I'd be impressed if any of the other games could be as exciting as this finishes.
I tweeted out earlier, I said, hey, I know there's a lot of big games on today, but don't sleep on this one.
Farmageddon is going to an epic ending. Jack Cantelli for the win. Cantelli's kick. It is good. Unreal finish here in the Little Apple.
Well, there's a penalty. I don't think it matters, but Cantelli took his helmet off in the field of play, and the referee saw it and threw a flag. So the penalty will be enforced on the kickoff, but they're going to squib it anyway.
The field goal is good. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 3, Kansas State. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Right down the middle. You wouldn't think this penalty in a normal game, in a normal situation, would make that much difference when you're just trying to probably kick it on the ground anyway and have somebody other than their main returner get it. But this has been anything but a normal game, especially the last minute and a half of this game.
I'm still in shock about what has transpired here in the last 10 minutes.
Well, you're in shock that I guess the way Iowa State lost it, but you go back to a week ago, and it's not the same game, but Iowa State was up on Oklahoma State. We talked about how Kansas State, in this game we talked early, how Kansas State got down quick, but we reminded everybody that last week against Texas Tech, they fought back from not one but 2 huge deficits in that game. And of course they didn't win the game, but there is no quit in either one of these teams. I think it goes back to the youth and inexperience on Iowa State's side. But on Kansas State's side, you know, Bill Snyder is an excellent football coach, and he's been around a long time for a reason, and he's going to have his teams ready to play. Now, they might not play the best football that he's seen in his tenure, but they're not going to give up. We saw that today.
24 unanswered points here in the second half for Kansas State. The short kick, and they'll take a knee. So Iowa State will have 1 play left. Don't forget, coming up next, Arizona and Arizona State. Iowa State, they've lost 7 in a row to Kansas State. K-State has lost 6 in a row on the season. It looks like K-State's about to snap that streak, and Iowa State is about to make it 8 in a row on the wrong side against the Wildcats. Final play of the game. Lanning throws to Lazard. The lateral down the sideline. Brings it back, still available, still loose. Lazard goes down, loses the ball, and K-State with a miraculous victory. Unanswered for Kansas State.
Well, you wanted a game, we got a game.
The final score here in Manhattan, Kansas. K-State snaps their 6-game losing streak. They win it 38-35. Now let's get you to Arizona for Arizona at Arizona State. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Bruce Feldman with the call. Guys, hope it's as much fun as this was.
Thank you, Justin. We hope ours is as good as yours as college football coverage continues on FS1 here in the Valley of the Sun.